In the moonlight, the girl was crouched down, shoulders shaking. I'll never do it again. Pearl-like tears rolled down her cheeks, but the corner of her mouth was curling up, playful. I shook my head. No good. You're not selling it at all. You never taught me how to play this, master. She broke into a laugh through the fake tears, and that was the trouble with her. Because this girl wasn't a girl at all. When I'd first pulled her up onto the island, she'd had two small horns, strange crimson markings across her middle, a red glow in her eyes. I'd been sure right away she wasn't human. Digging back through what I half remembered of the archaeology I'd landed on it. An evil creature out of the other world. A succubus. So I kept my guard up. And right then, with one swing of the thin stick I was holding, a line of text flashed above her head. Gold letters, bright enough you couldn't miss them. Relationship may be established. I blinked, and before I could read the rest, the gold text was gone. All I'd caught was something like master and servant. And father. I pressed my brow and shook my head. I was so run down I was hallucinating now. Keep this up and I dropped dead. Her name? Well, she didn't have one I'd given her. I called her the succubus, and I watched her the way you watch something that nearly killed you. She had her threats, but once I'd studied her properly, there wasn't much to her powers. The most she could do was conjure a tiny bit of flame, and half the time not even that. Just raise her own body temperature a little. From a monster, that was nothing. The danger was something else. My name's Yifei. I'd been told I was good-looking once, but lately I looked sickly, pale, worn thin. And there was a reason for that. I'd been stranded on this floating island for a month. I'd passed the awakening window, and I'd been proven to have no talent at all. 2 words for it, dead weight. So that road was closed to me. From here on I'd be an ordinary person. And it turned out ordinary people were pitifully weak. Just being near a creature like her, breathing the energy of this place, was bad for your health. A month had left me pale and gasping. Pity, I said. If I were a talent, I might try something. The island was empty. 20-some square meters of rock floating in nothing, and beyond it the endless star realm, silver energy flickering through the dark now and then like scattered stars. That was where the name came from. Out here there was nothing to do but figure out how to gather resources and build, and after a month of that, the succubus was the only thing I could talk to face. Any longer, and I'd have forgotten how to speak. So I didn't mind talking to her. And her voice really was lovely. Even if the gentleness was an act. It had to be an act. She was a succubus. There's no such thing as a good one. All performance. When I first hauled her up, she'd gone straight for my throat. The wound still ached, the teeth marks deep enough to have nearly hit the artery. She'd almost torn me apart. The succubus dropped the holy maiden disguise she'd been wearing and shifted back to her own form. Something on your mind? She asked, soft, like some knowing older sister. I nodded. I'd been in this world 3 years now, a parallel one, a lot like Earth, long enough to know it well. Humans here had developed space travel early, and unluckily they'd run into a group of aliens calling themselves the Star Alliance, and war broke out. In the end, humanity got pinned into the solar system and kept under steady attack. Just when things looked hopeless, they discovered the other world, the Star Realm, and by pulling an endless stream of resources out of it, they held the aliens off and ground the war to a stalemate. But holding that line took an enormous amount of resources and bodies, and exploring the Star Realm took huge numbers of people too. So Earth's population had climbed to a horrifying 210 billion, packed into towering hives of buildings. People called the cities hives, and they weren't wrong. Between the war and the pollution, the ground had cracked, the seas dried, every resource run dry, the air gone toxic. Everything on Earth now hung on the other world. The Star Realm was boundless and strange, no up or down, a little like outer space, but not empty. All kinds of resources floated in it. Huge fragments of continents, meteors, drifting bodies of water, broken alien structures, and, they said, corpses as big as stars. Most of Earth's resources, even some of its oxygen, came from there now. Whoever controlled the Star Realm controlled who got what. The real top of the heap. That had been my goal too. But the dream was full and the reality was thin. However hard I'd worked, and I'd made myself one of the top students at school, a name people knew. In the end, I couldn't awaken a talent, and that made all of it worthless. The best I could hope for now was a life as some elite wage slave. Just then my eyes drifted across the succubus, and without thinking I looked at the space above her head again. And I froze. Opportunity to establish a relationship detected. Source: Succubus. Possible relationship 1. Master and servant. You the servant, her the master. Possible relationship 2. Partnership. A reliable companion to act alongside. Possible relationship 3. The gold text was back, and this time it didn't vanish. Is it about the talent? She asked, lazy, stretching, her long fingers passing straight through the glowing letters like they were air. So only I could see them. Yeah, I said, eyes locked above her head, watching the words fade. A month, and I can't awaken one. There's no place for me under these stars. Talent, she said, a faint spark flickering up off her fingertip. A fire type, by what I'd told her. You've muttered about it for a month. A little power like that, is it really so important? Very. It's the key to a whole other life. I looked at her, envious. Even that much was beyond me. Only a talent gets recognized by an island's core, and then the island keeps absorbing the star realm's energy and grows. I pointed at the rock under our feet, 20-some meters across, swimming in the endless dark. Ordinary people can't stay in the star realm long. The energy here is poison to the body. So since I can't awaken, it's time I left. I decided to lay my cards on the table with her. Then her eyes went wide. You get sold. For a great deal of money. I said it flat. Heartless man. I risked my neck pulling you out, and you tried to kill me. Who's heartless? I pointed at the bite scar on my neck. Heartless woman. I didn't know what I was doing back then. I was small. You just smelled sweet. It was instinct. I can control it now. Don't believe me? Try it. She opened her mouth and stuck out her tongue, the picture of innocence. Your words are half true and half lie. I can't tell them apart anymore. I rolled my eyes. Her disguises were the problem. Over the month, she'd gone from a creature that couldn't even speak, half a meter tall like a newborn, to this, tall, expressions and movements no different from a human's, able to mimic any role she knew of. A little coaching from me, and she had it down cold. Sometimes she didn't even need me to speak. She'd read my face and adjust. Like a creature built for one thing, to please, to charm. A power like that, turned on the battlefield, would be unstoppable against the Star Alliance. Turned on humans, just as unstoppable. And if she ever charmed someone with real power and turned them against me, I'd be finished. And by what humans had dug up in the Star Realm, succubi were vile through and through, their dwellings full of corpses, most of them tortured before they died. So over these days I'd worked out 2 plans for selling her. 1. Sell her alive. Huge payoff, huge risk, since with her abilities she might cut a deal with the authorities and then come back at me. 2. Play it safe, kill her first, then sell the body. All profit, no risk. But a corpse is worth far less than a living one. Looking at her, I was torn. Thank you for saving me. And for raising me this big, she said, suddenly dropping the seductive act, her face turning serious. You've been the one I learned everything from. Every behavior, every piece of knowledge, you taught me. You're not far off from being my father. She gave me a wounded look. Stop, don't say it. Above her head the text had flared again, and it startled me. I'd worked out the pattern. 3 times the text had appeared, and every time it was when the succubus was trying to lead me into a mistake. Which meant, if mistakes were the trigger, then let them come. Just then my phone buzzed. A message from the education authority. I'd been in the Star Realm a full month, and if I hadn't awakened a talent, I was to return to Earth immediately. A Star Realm energy storm was expected to reach my area within the hour. Severe danger to ordinary people. Possible permanent harm to the body. My face changed. I'd wanted a few days to work the succubus over. Now there was no time. With my body in the state it was in, that storm might just kill me outright. The phone buzzed again. A voice call this time, from my homeroom teacher, Mr. Zung. My stomach dropped. Calls out here were brutally expensive. Humanity had long-range comms in the Star Realm, but they were priced for the rich lords who ran the place. A text cost 100. A voice call ran 1,000 a second. Data, 5 figures minimum to even turn on. For someone like me, working my way through school, I didn't dare use the phone here at all. Kept the data off. Used it only to receive texts. The call rang once and cut off on its own. Relief. Then a message came through. Yi Fei, it's been a month. Have you awakened a talent? Your early tests weren't promising. If you haven't, Don't keep trying. Come back now. The star realm is about to turn hostile. And come find me when you're back. I've called in some private favors and lined up a position for you at the city government, exempt from military service, with a chance to be made permanent later. I felt the warmth of it. Mr. Zing really had looked out for me, lined up a good job in advance. A government post, with a path to becoming a civil servant. The most coveted job there was at the end of the universe. Not as glorious as becoming an island lord, but the best an ordinary person could hope for, and not something money alone could buy. But the flip side, if he'd lined it up in advance, that was how little he rated my chances of awakening. The other students probably figured the same. I'd already gone dark. And right then, a mechanical voice spoke, and matching information surfaced in my head. System activation complete. Host has gained an opportunity to establish a relationship. Please use the system ability once to familiarize yourself with it and claim your beginner's reward. A system. After 3 years. 3 whole years. Did anyone know how I'd spent them? My eyes stung. I shot up off the bed. There was a crack and a stab of pain in my back. My old spine. Through the door, I heard the succubus, soft and pleased. Useless man. I got the system's gist fast. 1 line. Form a relationship with someone, and you get all kinds of benefits. What benefits exactly? Nothing more surfaced. I'd have to try it. I looked at the upper left of my vision, where 3 lines of gold text floated, shimmering, impossible to ignore. Possible relationship 1. Master and servant. You the servant, her the master. I started to grin. Master and servant didn't sound bad. A maid outfit flickered through my head, and then I read the part in the parentheses. Good grief, it was backwards. So she really had been lying about wanting to serve me. I'd half expected it, but it still annoyed me. I swallowed the urge to go out and have words with her and read on. Possible relationship 2. Partnership. A reliable companion to act alongside. Possible relationship 3. Father and daughter. You are the first living being she opened her eyes to in this world. So the succubus had told the truth about that. I was the first being she'd seen. The thought left me unsettled, like a duckling, imprinting on whatever it first laid eyes on, which meant she really was a young thing, still growing. Though by the look of her now she'd drifted the star realm a long while. Where she'd come from, I had no idea. The realm was boundless and the space around it always shifting. There was no direction to reason from. I shook it off. I turned my attention to master and servant. Clearly, if I performed that so-called contract magic with her, she'd enslave me, become my master. Partnership I had no read on. Form a partnership with a cunning, shape-shifting succubus? Even between 2 humans, trust is rare and precious. With her, near impossible. And the third one. I thought about it, got up, and pushed the door open. She was standing there. Maybe because I knew a little of what she was thinking now, she didn't look so dangerous to me anymore. More like something to appreciate. Looked at closely, she had a kind of poised grace. She smiled at me, like she could tell I'd made a decision. But what I said next stopped her short. You said I'm the first one you saw when you opened your eyes. So can you call me Dad? Let me hear it. She blinked. Then, softly, Dad. A chime. Relationship established with succubus, nominal father-daughter. Beginner's reward, basic body enhancement, 10 cubic meters of storage space, a gold treasure chest. Additional reward. You may randomly copy one of the succubus's racial talents. I'd only been testing it, and it was that easy. So the trigger didn't need me to mean it. It only needed her to. That was a useful rule. It made the whole thing a bit like a game. Figure out how to get someone to see you a certain way. As for the succubus, master and servant was probably still my eventual aim. But for now, I'd take the copy. Copying randomly. Copy successful. Talent gained. Demon flame. You can produce flame. The stronger your spirit, the stronger the ability, and your resistance to fire increases. A talent. Finally, I nearly wept. The moment it landed, everything around me sharpened. The dim, oppressive dark of the star realm went bright, and the heavy, sick feeling lifted clean off me. The energy here no longer harmed me, and I could feel my body changing, warming, growing stronger, the basic body enhancement at work. The weakness, the gasping, gone. I felt healthier than I ever had. My, Yi Fei, your body, it's so big, the succubus said, eyes wide. I looked down and started myself. My thin limbs had filled out with muscle, My loose pants stretched tight at the thigh, my stick arms thickened. I lifted my shirt, muscle starting to show across my middle, not dramatic, but the build of someone who'd trained a long time. The bite scar on my neck had vanished. Not bad at all. How did you do that? She asked, stunned. Lucky. Just awakened a talent. A faint smile. It wasn't a lie. I really had awakened one. Just by a different route than anyone else. Other people got theirs from their parents, born with it or not. I got mine by becoming someone's parent. Form one relationship and gain a talent that easily. What about a few more? Would I get more talents? You awakened a talent? She seemed genuinely thrown. Humans were that strange. Just awaken a talent and grow stronger? What about the contract magic? She asked. Oh, we'll still do the magic. But the terms can change. I reached out and patted her head. The enhancement was still working. Somewhere along the way I'd grown a head taller than her, and the once statuesque succubus looked small from up here. With a talent in hand, I was in no rush for any contract. I looked at her again, and the gold text popped up. Master and servant still available, partnership still available, and father-daughter now shifted from a relationship you may establish to a relationship you may deepen. So the first two were still open. I could hold more than one relationship at once, which meant the succubus was worth at least 2 more rewards. And the third line had changed. That earlier reward had been tagged nominal father-daughter, so it could be deepened further. I wondered what that would pay out. I went back into the room, shut the door, and started getting a feel for the talent. I opened my hand slowly, and a small orange flame rose off my palm. No taller than a finger, faint, like a lighter's. But the heat it gave off filled me with a giddy joy. A talent. The thing people went bankrupt and broke their backs chasing and still couldn't get. The key to a lord's seat in the star realm, to the very top of the human heap. And I'd gotten it easy. It felt like a dream. Except the power moving through me said otherwise. A talent and a strengthened body besides. Hearing, sight, strength, all of it sharper. Better than sleeping until you wake on your own. When the energy storm came, I wouldn't have to worry much. I ran the talent and felt the warmth in me hold the realm's energy off. Of course, a storm wasn't only energy. There was real wind too. The forecast text had said the storm's strength was low. My stone hut should hold. No big problem. And then my mind went back to the relationship system. If I could form more relationships, my eyes lit. But I looked around, and there was exactly one target to work on, and nothing else alive out here. The island floated alone, and islands sat far apart, with chaotic energy, vacuum, and rubble between them. 2 little oases in a vast desert, cut off from each other. Crossing that on foot was flatly impossible. So finding people out here to bond with was hopeless. Then a thought struck. What about over the network? Could I form a relationship with someone through a screen? If not in person, then online. I asked the system. No answer. I'd have to try it myself. But first I went to the island's edge and studied the chaos around me. The signs of the storm were getting clearer, a heavy, pressing feeling in the air. Then I went back in and got out my phone and started by replying to Mr. Zung. I decided to puff myself up. I said I'd awakened 2 talents, one spatial, one fire. There was no way for anyone to tell my storage space from a real spatial talent. 1 talent made me ordinary, 2 made me a genius. You only got taken seriously if you showed enough. With every resource in the world tilting toward the capable, playing the fool just got you fed like one. Then I gritted my teeth and turned on the data. 10,000. 100 megabytes of base data, every megabyte beyond that another 1,000. Watching the money go hurt to breathe. My assets shrank to almost nothing, just over 1,000 left. But I was a talent now. I had no money, but I had the ability to make it. And the spending was necessary. The second the data came on, my messaging app loaded 99 plus unread. A month near sealed off, all piled up. I lay back and opened the private chats first. Thanks to a decent reputation at school, plenty of classmates had reached out, asking how I was doing. Some had heard I might not awaken and sent words of comfort. A few of the rich ones offered me work on their family islands. And several girls who'd liked me well enough before now worked up the nerve to invite me to come build a happy home with them on their islands. They were all people who cared, and it warmed me. I meant to reply to each and thank them. But my data balance, I sighed. Better to answer just one and see if the system reacted. Of course I'm fine. Thanks for thinking of me, lazy. I'm rock solid over here. Already awakened a talent. We'll go conquer the star realm together someday, brother. Send. I cut the data right after to wait for a reply and opened the class group to read the messages already cached on my phone. That way a flood of live chat wouldn't drain me. I was curious what everyone had been through. We'd all paid so much for this. From the first day of school, every student's main course of study had been the star realm, surviving in it, identifying minerals, developing resources. And if you had money, hiring help was an option: professional managers, mining engineers, capable secretaries. The group was a slice of life. Someone crowing they'd awakened an earth talent, great for mining, just waiting for a gold vein to drift by. Someone else envious, stuck with a low-grade water talent, useless with no water around. Someone who hadn't awakened anything, wondering if the iron drum that floated up to them meant something. Someone who'd borrowed 5 million to gamble on awakening and lost it all. Joy for some, grief for others. The 1-month mark was the deadline. Today was the cutoff. Anyone who hadn't awakened by now lost their shot at becoming an island lord for good. 3 roads left to them: the factory, the civil exam, or the army. The army was the most dangerous. The Star Alliance pressed harder every day, and the solar system line burned daily, deaths in the millions. Fewer than 1 million dead in a day counted as good command. Humanity had nowhere to run. But who did the dying was a careful calculation. The conscription rule was called the 1813. Before 18, you only studied. After, you went into the star realm for 1 plus 3 months of trial. Awaken in the first month, and you were a talent, kept off the front. Wash out, and you had 3 months to prepare. Those with skills or connections could go to a factory, the rest to the defense forces. Looks like the defense forces for me. One message read, resigned. Don't lose heart. Warship duty beats filling the line, better odds of living. Yeah, we're out of a top high school at least. They won't toss us to the very front. The mood was grim. I read it with a tangle in my chest. Once you were on the battlefield, your remaining life was measured in minutes. I'd read of a soldier who became a company commander 1 minute in because his whole company died, and a division commander a day later. Survive a day, you're a veteran. 3 months, elite. A year, a war hero, with a gold spike driven into your forehead. They called them gold spike soldiers. An awe-inspiring honor, but I wouldn't envy it. It was paid for in lives. Everyone's first choice was to be a lord. Only the cornered chose to bet their lives. I sighed. 80 people in our class. 20 awakened, 51 didn't, 9 offline. The offline ones were either dead or had given up awakening to save the cost of staying connected. Brutal. By that math, the awakening rate was only 25%, 1 in 4. And we were the A-class, top students or kids from lord families. Our odds triple a normal class. Ordinary classes ran under 9%. Some couldn't produce a single talent. Reading on, someone had started a lords group. Someone else said, don't call it that yet. There's 3 months to go. No telling who gets recognized by an island core. Fair, call it the talents group. By past years, at least 70% more would still wash out. A month of work, and they might still have to bet their lives anyway. Everyone envied the rich heavyweights in class who, once awakened, had nothing left to worry about. The biggest names got to be young Master Foam. Money and grades both. Who'd dare claim they're above him, except Yifei? A real all-rounder. So jealous of Foam. He's about to take off. Speaking of Yifei, shame, isn't it? He didn't awaken. Don't be so sure. It's not over yet. The later it gets, the lower the odds. The first 7 days tell the story. They joke it's the first 7, like a funeral. Still nothing by month's end, and you're basically sentenced to death. The gossip had reached me. I checked the time, yesterday's chat. By now the picture was set, and since I'd never joined the group, the others clearly figured I was done for. I kept scrolling, and then I noticed the room had gone dark. My chest tightened. I got up and went outside. One whole side of the island had been swallowed by black, the starlight gone, replaced by a depthless dark, lightning flickering through it now and then, snakes of light tearing the black open. A wind had come up on the island, howling, carrying something uneasy. The star realm energy storm. But this speed. My face went serious. This wasn't what the education authority had described. As a top student, I made the read fast. The storm didn't cover much ground, but it moved fast, like a sudden cloudburst, violent coming and going, wind that could hit 100 meters a second at its worst. And worse, Its path ran straight through a field of rubble. If it came carrying that rock with it, I hurried the shaken succubus inside. But looking at the crude little hut of stacked stone, I felt my nerves go too. If it held, fine. If it didn't, and the place came down, I wouldn't even need a coffin. The star realm had day and night, weather, geology, the temperature, climate, and rock around each island could all differ. That was the point of all that schooling. Only by knowing it could you read an island's stone and the drifting matter around it, and from that get a rough sense of the region's climate and what chaotic energies dominated nearby. My patch ran heavy to wind and lightning. The wind kept rising. The chaotic energy around the island churned, throwing off gusts and flashes. Far off, the dark pressed closer, a black tide rolling forward, lightning lighting the tumbling rock inside it. I stood watching it. The first time you see it, the sheer terrible spectacle floors you. I checked the wind once more and was sure the storm would pass straight over my island. Should I run back to Earth and hide? I thought it and dropped it fast. Worry about the succubus being spotted was the lesser reason. The main thing was that I'd just awakened a talent, and now I had to stay in the star realm at least 3 months for it to develop. A talent only grew in under the realm's special conditions. Leave too soon and you risked stunting it, even losing it, like a child raised without what it needs in infancy, left small or dead. Experts had found that growth took about 3 months. That was why the trial ran for 1 to awaken, 3 to develop and adapt. If all went right, my talent would strengthen over those months and I'd settle into this world. And once I had it down, I could even merge with an island core and become a true lord. So I couldn't leave, and I couldn't stay in the hut either. Which meant I made my call, pulled a pickaxe from my supply box, and got ready to dig in. It was the heaviest single tool in the 100 kilos of gear I'd brought, meant for mining. But my island was all granite, not a scrap of or in it. So the pick was really for cutting building stone. A few swings, though, and I gave up. The surface was a thin skin of soil over loose rock, then hard granite. Digging a hole to hide in meant boring into solid stone, and my tools would wear away before I got anywhere. So I dropped the pick and started tearing the hut apart. If I couldn't dig down, I'd build a cave from what I had. Stacked low and heavy, those stones would hold far better than the hut. I laid a hand on a wall, and the stone under my touch vanished, storage space. I ran my hand along, and a whole row went into it. With that trick, I recovered every block fast, then started laying them back out. Big stones first, leaned together in pairs into peak shapes, so the gap underneath made a small, collapse-resistant pocket. Once I checked it would hold 2 people, I conjured the rest of the blocks out of storage one by one. A few minutes, and there was a stone mound with a meter-high opening at the base. But it wasn't thick or heavy enough, and the outer stones were small, easy for the wind to take. With the system, my future was wide open. I wasn't about to capsize on something like this. Play it safe. I ran to the island's edge, where the wind had already blown plenty of stone over. Perfect building material. Outside the island there was no gravity, only on it, so loose things out there moved easily in the wind, which was exactly why I never went near the edge. Drift off, and I might never get back. But with the gusts, the stones had come to me. I only had to touch them to pull them into storage. 10 cubic meters of it, a truckload's worth, and I filled it fast, 1 block near 2 meters across, all the while watching the storm close. The more I gathered before it hit, the safer I'd be. Then a dense crackling, and grit and sand mixed into the wind, stinging my face. The storm's leading edge. I bolted back to the mound and started reinforcing, crude and simple. Just pile more on, make it bigger. The heap grew, and the shape of it gave me an odd feeling. It looked like a grave. The more I looked, the more it did. That little opening at the base like where you slide the coffin in. But no time to be picky. The wind grew worse, the air thick with dust like a sandstorm. Eyes barely open, sand hammering on every side until I couldn't see a thing. Quick, you get in first, I shouted to the succubus. She was already weak, and now she lay flat against the ground, not daring to stand. If she blew away, that was a fortune lost. Okay, she started, but the wind packed her mouth with grit, and she scrambled for the hole instead. And of course, her loose jeans, my clothes really, since she had nothing of her own, caught on a stone at the opening, and there she was stuck, half in, while I, near blind, finished dumping the last of the big stones and ducked to go in. My head bounced back. Squinting against the sand, I saw the problem. No time. I yanked. Her pants tore. I shoved her through and dove for the gap myself. And got stuck. My arm wouldn't fit. I'd grown bigger again without noticing. The pocket was narrow up top, and she'd taken the bottom. There was no room for me. Fist-sized stones were already blowing in, slamming the island like cannon fire. More and bigger coming. No hesitation. I grabbed her foot and hauled her back out, dove in myself, then reached out and dragged the terrified succubus in on top of me. She was small enough to fit the tighter space up top. I threw out a hand, and the biggest stone dropped from storage right over the mouth of the cave. The next instant, the world outside was nothing but the wind's roar and stone on stone, lightning now and then. Sand poured through the cracks. A high-speed rock smashed the outside, and the whole cave shook. There was nothing to do but hold my breath and keep her foot out of my mouth. In that moment, I learned exactly what it meant to be the one underneath. Cramped. Couldn't turn. The smell, no need to elaborate. Lucky for me, the enhancement had finally finished, and I'd stopped growing, or I don't want to think how crushed we'd have been. The wind came fast and went fast. 5 minutes later, it was dead silent, starlight back on the island, like nothing had happened. Only the battered island told the story. That was the star realm. Brilliant one moment, storm the next. Change was the only constant here. If not for the endless resources, no one would stay. I crawled out and stared. The thin soil was scoured clean off, rock driven into the ground, gouges everywhere. If those had hit a person, too close this time. Without the system's reward, I'd at least have been blown off the island. Everything was gone but the stone mound. The island was a bare, slick boulder now. But with the system, no real problem. One relationship I'd formed offhand was worth more than the whole island. I got out the blanket, lifted the succubus onto it. I'd pulled her out by the foot and dragged her in by the hair, so she'd taken scrapes. Her feet, thighs, back, the back of her head, some cuts deep, grit and dust in the wounds. The many injuries were partly my strength and partly her own wild struggling. In the crisis, I hadn't noticed, but thinking back, she'd fought me hard coming out. She must have thought I was abandoning her. And I had thought it, briefly. I wasn't about to die for her, but where I could, I'd save her. Keep a dog long enough and you grow attached. Never mind a succubus you could actually talk to. I'd kept my guard up, hadn't even named her. I told myself, over and over, that by what I knew, succubi were evil and cunning, a tool that moved on its own, a slave to use to the hilt. You bare your heart to her. She sizes up your flavor. A succubus eats people, but hearts are flesh, and time wore on me. And with the system, I could see it wasn't all an act. There was some real feeling in her. Apart from the horns, at a glance, she looked human. Closer, you saw it. Skin too smooth, legs too long, red eyes that weren't contacts, gradient red hair, a figure too perfectly proportioned for anything human to grow. Lie still, I'll clean your wounds. I conjured fresh water and a towel, rinsed them, wiped away the blood and mud. She hissed, but bit her lip and held still. When I'd done the key spots, I stopped, running low on water. I'd packed enough for one person for 2 months, plenty, but with her eating and drinking too, it had gotten tight, and the storm had taken most of it, the water and the bedding especially. We were both filthy, sand falling out of our hair, but the water had to last, 10 days worth left. Her pants were gone, lost in the tearing. Only the shirt remained on her. I took that off her too. Her back was all scrapes, the cloth would only hurt, and I was cold enough myself. The island was small, its climate easily swayed by the realm, and after the storm the temperature had dropped to near 4 degrees. I dressed, gathered stone fast, raised a new hut, laid the one blanket inside, set her face down on it, and kept reinforcing while she worked her fire talent to warm herself. Before long, the heavy little hut warmed, and she went quiet. I looked in and found her asleep. Overused her power, probably. And I noticed she'd grown. Before, her feet hadn't reached a pattern on the blanket. Now they did. At least 5 centimeters taller than a week ago. Her face hadn't changed, but her skin was smoother and the horns a touch longer. I pinched one, still soft, but warmer, near body temperature. She gave a small sound, pained, or maybe something else. That was the thing about her. Every move she made gave off a kind of pull, and she never seemed to know it. always the picture of innocence. You could look every day and never tire of it. And she was still growing, changing daily. But the appreciation faded, and cold reason took its place. I'd thrown that hut up in under 5 minutes, and already it was over 20 degrees inside, which meant her fire had jumped sharply. With the height and the horns, her body was developing fast. She kept getting stronger, and her strength too. If not for my enhancement, she'd have had the edge on me in a fight now. Power, talent, all of it climbing fast, and I didn't even know by how much. A succubus growing like that at my side, a capsize was only a matter of time. I left her some food and went back to the work and to looking for anything around me worth using. I built the walls up past 2 meters thick, then collected the big stones drifting nearby for a heavy outer wall, so a storm couldn't wipe me out again. Work keeps you warm until it doesn't. Sweat in a cold place with wind on you, and you can lose heat fast, even die, while you feel hot. Happens every year. So when I started sweating, I used the fire talent. Oddly, I didn't have to make actual flame, just let a gentler heat spread through me, drying the sweat and holding my temperature. Weak as the talent was, it was great for the work. I kept at it, and the labor was its own pleasure, all of it mine. The results visible by the minute. Stone, +1. Wall, +1. I lost myself in that happy loop straight through to the next morning. By then, the realm's energies were flashing back into stars. White light like a sun lighting the island. A new day. I'd cleared the whole island, built a 3-meter wall of huge stone around the hut, anchored the foundation with long slabs, capped the roof with heavy slabs and small chips in the gaps. Warm inside. I stood out front, hands on hips, admiring it. My first house in the star realm. I ducked back in to check on the succubus. Still asleep, food untouched. I felt her forehead. Normal, no infection fever. Good, since I had no medicine for her out here. Then I went to cook. I was suddenly starving. All that work, and the enhancement had improved my digestion too. I felt like I could eat a whole cow. I stacked a few stones into a crude stove and heated a can. The rich folks had brought roast meat, drinks, flour. Some tycoon's kid had brought a dairy cow, a chef, and maids. For a broke nobody, a can was my celebration food, and I'd only managed a few, since cans were pricey and heavy and the transit portal charged extra past 100 kilos. Mostly I'd brought nutrient paste, mixed with water, choke it down, the cheapest balanced way to keep a body alive. Before this I'd have eaten the can cold, but I was content. Everything the others had, real food, a true lord's life. I'd have it all once I got through the hard part. And my edge was already showing. One night, and I'd built a hut this solid, with a wall, off a single system reward. I should get on with forming relationships. Wonder if it works over the network? I got the phone out of storage, where I'd kept it safe while working. It chimed the moment it was out. Lazy had replied. I opened it, and my heart sank. Lazy and I were years-long friends, classmates at the very least. And his message had come back, but I'd gotten no reward. Weren't relationships supposed to pay out? Did that mean online didn't count, only face-to-face? 3 more months stuck here. Then, missing the island's best window, my final trial score in ruins. A shame, but it didn't dent my mood. I'd been lucky enough. I read his reply. My brother. Knew I was right about you. Talent in hand. The world's ours. The 2 titans of the star realm. A good thing. A friend awakening alongside me. Friends. Maybe lords, who'd turn that down. And I could use him now. Lend me some money, I said easy. Lazy's family had money. I'd never dared ask before. Talking money strains friendship, but things were different now. As a talent, I could pay it back. This wouldn't damage anything. It'd deepen the bond, no burden on him at all. Chime. Relationship established with classmate Sule, friends. Reward, strength +1, fortune energy +1. It worked. Not a talent this time, but a stat point. I felt the power move through me and hefted a stone, stronger, plainly. So different relationships paid different rewards. Father-daughter gave part of the other's talent. Friendship gave a stat. Strength would be Lazy's standout. He was a gym fiend, all muscle. But why no reward at first? I compared the two and had the answer, a response. When someone offered the relationship, I had to respond. The succubus called me dad. I answered, done. The first time with Lazy, I'd said nothing back. Later, asking for money, I'd called him brother, which counted. So the rule was clear. 1. The other person accepts the relationship. 2. I respond. Not formally, just enough that it lands. And the fortune energy? I felt a vital force in me, and at a thought it gathered to my fingertip, glowing green. The name brought to mind one of an island's 6 great cores, the fortune core. Was it for that? I had no core yet to test it. But as a top student, I had another guess. I conjured my oil paper packet of seeds, vegetables, fruit, crops, picked the biggest, a potato, and tried pouring fortune energy in. Halfway, I stopped. The potato did nothing. Different from the plant energy the textbooks described, then. Still, I set it aside and sprinkled the last handful of soil over it. The can's broth came to a boil, the smell breaking my thoughts. In this rotten world, food at least shouldn't be wasted. Canned junk, but to a man a month without meat, it was a feast. The beef smell alone had me drooling. In the hut, the succubus's nose twitched and her eyes opened. She'd caught it too. She'd been awake a while, actually. But the day before had stirred something in her, and she didn't know how to face me, so when I came in she'd faked sleep. The moment I'd hauled her out into that storm, she'd been terrified, sure she was about to die, thrown to the wind, which was why she'd fought so hard. And yet I hadn't given her up for the trouble. At the last second I'd pulled her into the cave with me. A second later, and she'd have been gone. Thinking it through, her feelings tangled. Her struggling had backfired completely. If she'd been stronger and I hadn't dragged her out, she might have gotten me killed. And even so, I'd saved her without hesitation. It shocked her, and now she was torn. I was selfless, she was selfish. I was good, she was bad. But the knowledge in her head told her humans were evil, lustful, murderous, vile, a thoroughly bad creature. So why? Instinct said to trust what she'd inherited. That knowledge had made her grow strong. But the reality was that I'd risked my life for her. And in her place, she'd never have done the same. She might even have been glad to be rid of an evil human. Her feelings toward me were complicated. I was the first being she'd seen. She leaned on me and didn't mind it. But the inherited knowledge felt more trustworthy, as natural to her as breathing. As she grew, that knowledge had been winning out, reason climbing back to high ground. Now the feelings surged back and tangled her again. Maybe I was different from other humans? Maybe the knowledge wasn't all right? No, how could it be wrong? I can't be fooled. He's luring me. Humans are far more cunning and evil than us. But Yifei, she shook it off. She was, after all, a child a month old. It was too complicated for her. She crept off the bed, careful of her back, the wounds already scabbed where I'd rinsed the grit out, and padded barefoot to the doorway and peered out. From that angle she could just see me, sitting quiet under the starlit sky, and a thought rose in her, handsome. She couldn't say if it was a trick of her eyes, but I looked handsomer than before. As I sat stirring the can, the sun grew hot, and I stood without warning, squinted at the heat, and pulled my shirt off. And there in the light was a build that, after the enhancement and the extra point of strength, had gone genuinely fit. I shook my head, sweat flying off in bright drops, some sliding down over the muscle. A wave of something male came off me, and she stared, dazed. So handsome. Strange, she thought. Could a human's talent really be this good? It didn't match what she knew. I'd been handsome but frail, and now, in a single day, my body had changed this much. By her inherited knowledge, humans were a strong, fearsome race, but middling at awakening. Ordinary element talents that took a long time to develop, with no great gain in physical strength. But I was different, heating food with fire already, hauling stones that size. 2 talents, then? Humans did occasionally throw a super genius with 2. Maybe I was 1. So her knowledge wasn't wrong after all, and I'd put a collar on her, tried to enslave her, meant to sell her. Thinking that, she felt she owed me nothing. I stirred the can. The smell drifted out, and I breathed deep. A few potatoes stewed in would make it perfect. Potato beef stew. A shame I'd planted my only potato. And then I heard it. A faint hiss, like something burrowing fast. I looked down, and the soil over the buried potato heaved. Something moving under it, and a seedling broke through. That fast. The fortune energy had worked. Before my eyes the seedling shot up, a meter tall in moments, green shoots and leaves unfurling. It stunned me, and it was huge. A normal potato plant tops out around 70 centimeters, then swells at the root instead. This was a herb, not a tree. It shouldn't grow this tall. The stalk was 2 thumbs thick. It climbed to 2 meters before slowing. This was no potato plant anymore. It was a potato tree. But with all the growth in the trunk and leaves, had any potatoes formed? I dug in, and there they were, growing well. The root system already spread past the soil, which had run out. I brushed away dirt, and out they came. 20 potatoes, each fist-sized. From nothing, in moments. 2 made a meal, 1 if you stretched it, 6 days food for 1 person, all from the fortune energy. Chime. Opportunity to establish a relationship detected. Source, potato tree. Possible relationship, cultivation, you cultivated it. I could do that. It made sense. A potato's life is a life too. And if the succubus could, why not the potato? Green light rose on my hand. I had half my fortune energy left. Cultivating it again would count as my response. Half had grown at 2 meters. What would another half do? I brushed the tree with the green light. Nothing. Needed a moment, like before. 1 minute, 2, 3, nothing. Then I saw the soil had gone bone dry, and part of the tree's roots had crept into the can I'd set aside. I lunged and grabbed it. Too late. The broth was gone, sucked dry. I glared at the tree and pulled my axe, then stopped. Couldn't really chop it. I'd lose more that way. I was looking forward to potato beef stew, and you little spud drank the beef broth first. Who'd have guessed a potato could grow that fast? But looking closer, I cheered up, because the tree's state was extraordinary. If before I'd only suspected it grew too well, now I was certain. It had mutated, gone drought-resistant, and lightning-fast at growing and pulling in nutrients. The soil was spent, so its roots were hunting water and food everywhere, some driven deep into the rock. Soft roots, into stone. The power of plant growth was something. Praise life. Praise fortune. I conjured a bottle of water, and the moment it hit the air, the roots all turned toward me and grew. Interesting, the tree sensed water. Desert animals can smell it from kilometers off, but in a plant, I'd never heard of it. Watching the roots climb the rock, I half wondered if it had developed a mind. It looked that alive. But no, just very fast growth playing tricks. I poured the whole bottle in. The roots drank it, and the tree surged, then stopped. Not enough water. But I'd gotten the reward. Chime. Relationship established with potato tree, cultivation. Reward, constitution +1. A warm current rose in me, like soaking in a hot spring. And it wasn't done. Ability gained, water sense. Plant a potato offhand and get a stat and an ability. I flexed my hand. The small scrapes on my arm from building had already scabbed, faster than they should, the work of that 1 point of constitution. But I felt the warmth fading fast. That super healing came only in the instant of gaining the point. With 11 constitution, 1 point lifted my recovery maybe 10%. But keep gaining points. 1,000,000 constitution, and any wound heals in a blink? My eyes lit. I wanted to plant more, but the conditions were gone. No spare soil, no spare water, no fortune energy to sprout one fast. And cooled down. I realized an ordinary potato probably couldn't form a relationship. Otherwise, the trillions of bacteria on me should each owe me a symbiosis. And that many, even at 1 stat each, would make me a god on the spot. Impossible. No matter, a contented heart. I peeled and cubed a potato, dropped it in water in the can, and heated it with the fire talent. The smell came again, richer with the potato in it. I focused on the cooking, not knowing the succubus was watching from the doorway. What she'd just seen had floored her. I raised a hand and conjured things from nothing, and that green light made plants grow in moments. Another talent? Then I had at least 3. A genius even among succubi, and against everything in her head. Was her knowledge really wrong? Or was I simply special, unlike other humans? And the can, what was in it? That smell so enchanting. A month of nutrient fluid, and now real food. She breathed it in, mouth-watering, unable to tell hunger from some other want. The tree's roots still crept along, slower now, water spent. As I opened the heating can, steam condensed on the lid and dripped, and the roots took the water and grew along the trail of drops into a curve. So I sprinkled more drops and led them. In, then B, and finally, guiding them, the roots wound around a few stones into a chair. Behold, the woven vine. Not bad, a new tool. Sitting in the chair I'd woven, I felt good. Who'd believe it? My first time planting a potato in the star realm, and I'd grown a stool. Stranger still, the vine seemed to have a mind. Once I sat, that part stopped growing and held its shape, like a real chair. And I could feel the fortune force still inside the tree, which was why it kept growing. With more water, I could fully release it. Then my nose twitched. Water. Fresh water. A good amount, somewhere nearby. I looked out past the island, but the flashing starlight and drifting rock blocked my view. With water sense, though, I could still feel it. Closer. No hesitation. I pulled climbing rope from my gear, tied one into a big stone and the other to myself, and leapt out into the realm. Chaotic, mostly weightless, but I didn't need to go deep. The water was near. A clear body of water drifted up, fast, and would have sailed past unseen if not for my sense. I touched it, and it vanished into storage. Done. 9 cubic meters of fresh water at once. Pure. Clear. On Earth, a single cubic meter sold for tens of thousands, and prices had only climbed since. But I wasn't selling. I had a use. A wave of my hand, and water appeared. The roots shot up. Another chair finished. Another wave, more potatoes. Another, and the tree surged. I kept releasing water, growing the tree, shaping it where I needed, and while I still had fortune energy, I had vines wrap and grow over the stone wall, making it sturdier. Like magic. I worked around the wall and the hut, fast. Missed this window, and I'd need more fortune energy. Behold, elf magic. Grow. Grow. I raised a hand and the roots moved. Raised it again and the wall filled with vines. Raised it again. Ah! A scream from the front of the hut. I ran over and nearly laughed out loud. The runaway roots had wrapped the succubus's ankle and hung her upside down, and she was flailing in the air, both arms clamped around the beef can. Seeing me look, she flushed. I was afraid the tree would steal it. Before she finished, a piece of beef fell out of her mouth, and I lost it. I burst out laughing. Talking had spilled the broth from her mouth, running down past her chin, over her brow, into her gradient red hair. Crimson-faced, she instinctively wanted to hide from my eyes, but hung there she couldn't, and the cursed tree, like a fawning dog, swung her right up to me. She had to face me, splayed and humiliated. She swore she'd only been curious, come to see what smelled so good, but the smell was so good she'd taken a bite without thinking, eyes blissfully shut, and gotten herself hung up. She braced for me to mock her hard, but I didn't. The laugh faded, and I reached up and set her down. Sit. Let me finish this. Calm, like greeting an old friend. My strength, constitution, talents had all passed her now, and I was sure that, gaining rewards from a steady stream of relationships, I'd only pull further ahead. I could crush her, even if she had a few sisters. So my red on her had shifted, less fear and guard, more fondness and curiosity. Not that I'd fallen for her, more like admiring and toying with a pretty, sweet-voiced bird. Before, I dreaded her endless growth turning against me. Now, foreseeably, that danger wouldn't hold. Which brought me back to the other 2 relationships she offered. By my reed, the more unbreakable and deep the bond, the bigger the reward. A partnership with a famously cunning, evil succubus, what would that pay? And not just the reward. A partnership meant I'd see her trust level, get her tagged as a partner, someone I could rely on. A talented, capable, trustworthy alien hand. The upside was huge. An island lord isn't a hermit. Farm your own field, dig your own ore, and that's not lordship, that's a survival show. After awakening, lords had to hire, and a talented hire cost at least 100 times an ordinary one. Top-grade talent you had to wine and dine. And that was just paid employment. The other only works for money, far short of a true partner. So partnering with the succubus had real value, and the bond could be upgraded later. The only question was how to befriend her. The way I had at school. Funny, sincere with classmates, slowly becoming friends? No good. She wasn't human. She had her own logic, and the vast inherited knowledge in her head, unlocking as she grew. So I wasn't the only thing shaping her. That knowledge held at least half the sway. Which was why she felt grateful and a little attached, but clearly trusted her own knowledge more, since it was instinct, like breathing. It gave me a headache. Still, I'd try. A man should dream. What if it worked? And if it didn't? No loss. I'd kept her a month already. I went back to the tree, and a few minutes later the fortune energy ran out. It stood over 6 meters, the trunk half a meter thick, low and squat like a crouching green umbrella. The hut and wall, reinforced with its roots, were a level stronger. Another storm, and the hut would hold with no effort from me. As for the root's strength, no worry. A thumb-thick one had hung 100-some-pound succubus, tough as climbing rope, and being alive, no risk of aging and snapping. Potato roots plus stone was a near-perfect building method, and it saved me a fortune in materials. Then I went to her. "How's the body?" "Mostly healed. Doesn't hurt to move as long as I don't touch the wounds," she said, her red eyes fixed on me, curious. I really had changed, taller, so she had to look up at me now, my whole bearing fuller, more vivid, like I might burst with it. That strength held her gaze, and her mouth watered, and for a moment, she couldn't tell appetite from something else. Were humans this strange? Just awaken a talent and change this much in under a day? It didn't match what she knew. Was her knowledge really wrong? Or was I special? And, oddly, looking at me, she felt a strange kinship. Not the imprinting bond of first sight, but something in the air, like we shared a bloodline, a same kind feel. She didn't know I'd copied her demon flame talent, and the system had adapted it, which naturally made me feel familiar to her. "A succubus heals fast," I said. Her wounds were scabbed. The lighter scrapes already shed their scabs to faint white marks. Not scars, smooth to the touch, just new skin a different color. "Since I've awakened a talent, I don't need to sell you. You can keep living here. There's plenty of food and water now." She smiled at me, sweet, and swallowed the thanks on her tongue. Enslaved and grateful too. She scolded herself. Then, inwardly, "Humph, false, cunning humans." She understood I'd retaken control. Awakened, I clearly didn't need her contract magic, and she'd lost her shot at turning the tables. Disappointed, she hid it and smoothed her mood fast. She had faith in herself. No human could escape her pull. Given time, she'd take the lead. Her inherited knowledge said so. She was a succubus, and a special one. But I seemed unlike other humans, and she couldn't help feeling close to me. A month-old child, tangled up again in something too complex for her. Just then the sun caught the collar on her pale neck, and it stood out, harsh. The sight didn't embarrass a shameless man like me in the least. Take it off and she runs. One leap off the island, a dozen meters out of view, and I'd never get her back. A loss to make anyone wince. But it gave me an idea. Pull out the trump card. Be sincere. Take the collar off? A big bet. If she didn't buy it, I'd be the fool out both the prize and the cost. And then, upper left of my vision, gold text. Possible relationship too. Partnership. A reliable companion to act alongside. Flickering, impossible to miss. I hadn't called up any panel. Could it be? My eyes lit, and I looked at her. Information surfaced. Critical moment detected. Your relationship with the succubus has reached a crossroads of fate. Your choice now will directly shape where it goes. The effect runs deep. Choose carefully. A crossroads. So this scene was a key choice. Good thing the system flagged it, or I'd have missed it. And did this mean I could form relationships by following its prompts? I looked at her. She'd crossed those long legs in the chair across from me, her figure on easy display. Under my gaze, gold text appeared above her head. If you do nothing, the succubus is disappointed and will continue to distrust you. System, then how should I act? No answer. Stiff thing. I looked at the collar. More text. You intend to remove the collar. This may earn the succubus's gratitude and some additional benefit. I didn't move yet and read on. Use the remote to shock her, and you'll likely increase her hatred. Ignore the collar and chat, and you waste the moment with nothing changed. So taking the collar off was the best move. I was glad. I'd wanted to anyway. Only the uncertain outcome had held me back. No hesitation now. I went to her and reached out. Click. I switched the collar off and took it from her neck. She froze, staring. I awakened my talent thanks to you. Without you, that storm would have killed the talentless me. So I'm giving you your freedom. Like you said before, from now on we're even. I said it plainly, serious. I'd followed the prompts, but I hadn't played any tricks. Sincerity was the trump card. Without her, I'd never have awakened the system. I'd have had another chance eventually, but it would have cost time and my one shot at lordship. And the system only said may. Removing the collar guaranteed nothing. Take it off while slapping her around, and she'd be grateful? The execution was on me. From now on, you're this island's first guest. So I can leave? Of course. I'll even give you food and water. I was sure of it. I'm no saint, but my word holds. The readiness threw her, agreeing that fast. Half doubting, she looked at my serious eyes and found I wasn't joking. Free, suddenly. But where would she go? The succubus city in her memory was too far. She couldn't find it. She went lost. Her stomach growled loud. She covered it, flushed, and ducked her head. Why so loud? I smiled. That was the thing I liked about her. Unclothed, a succubus, yet not a trace of the wanton about her. Always the picture of a genuinely shy girl. Maybe that was her true face. Made sense. She wasn't much old. Come eat. I got a bowl, tipped half the potato beef into it, and handed her the can. 2 chairs, one of us each side of a big stone. Starved, she took the can and drank in gulps, broth flying, then licked the bottom clean. I caught her at it, and she flushed and pulled her tongue back, but not before she'd gracefully rolled the last bits of meat into her mouth. Best thing I've ever eaten, she praised, having licked the bowl spotless. I stared at the gleaming inside. The can was a full 18 centimeters deep. How had she cleaned the bottom? But the praise didn't surprise me. I'd nearly licked it myself, a month without meat, and the broth was unreasonably good. Suspiciously good. The mutant potato, maybe? I handed her a roast potato. I'd set several around the can, and with the talent's heat, they'd cooked through. My first use of a talent on the island. And it was cooking a mutant potato, eating it with a succubus. Strange to say out loud, no one would believe it. She juggled the hot potato, hissing, cramming it in until I told her to peel the burnt skin. And I confirmed it. The potato's flavor was uncommon, rich and faintly sweet from the simplest cooking. While she battled the potato, I checked the phone. No reply from Lazy yet, but a message from Mr. Zung. Congratulations. 2 talents. Wonderful, impressive. As your teacher, I'm glad. I'll report it to the school. Send me the rough details. The awakening list comes out in a few days, and the picture isn't rosy, but for a genius like you, that's good. More scholarship within reach. Then advice from a teacher who'd watched countless students grow. 1. Awakening is only the start. The next 3 months are crucial. Don't slack. It decides how high you go. 2. If the conscription office sends an invitation, don't say yes on impulse. Think it over. 3. Try not to take a conglomerate's funding, however good the terms look. If you need money, borrow it, take a loan. I'll apply for a special school scholarship for you too. Keep it up. I'm proud of you. Warmth in my chest. A raw newcomer who knew nothing, getting advice from a professional, priceless, and tied to my reporting 2 talents. In an age that tilts everything toward the capable, a genius shouldn't hide. Let the higher-ups know clearly, and the favors follow. Teachers now didn't just teach. They had standing and wide connections, turning out a batch of lords every year, and Mr. Zung was a decades-long master teacher, of which Shanghai City had few. His advice was gold. Of the 5 points, the last 2 were about late-stage island management, no use yet, but the first 3 I might hit soon. The conscription office. Point 2 had only one short line. Some things he couldn't say outright. Point 1 I'd heard of, but not that it was this serious, shaping how high I'd climb. So whether I became a great lord rode on the foundation of these 3 months. Point 3 an ordinary student might not get, but 2 lifetimes in, I knew capital's nature cold. Everything's priced in the dark. I wouldn't be taken in. Thank you, teacher, I replied, grateful. Chime. Relationship established with Mr. Zung, teacher and student. Reward. You may randomly learn one of Mr. Zhang's abilities, Fortune Energy +1. Learn it now. A trickle of knowledge entered my head, and a few minutes to digest it gave me a new ability, Master Grade Resource Surveying. Master. Mr. Zung kept his true depth hidden. No wonder his standing was so high. No wonder lords kept inviting him to their islands. Resource surveying was a required course, easy to dabble in, brutal to master, a field that leans hard on experience. Some or you've never seen with your own eyes. No book will teach you. Like medicine, the more experience the better. A hugely useful ability for finding resources. Then I turned to the tree, green light on my hand, and brushed it. It surged and mutated again. My first fortune in the star realm would be a potato. No, a mutant potato tree with a measure of awareness. I raised a hand. The tree shot up, a root reached over, and a potato dropped into my palm. It started small, just a swelling bit of root, then ballooned to fist size. Firm, springy, under the thin skin, pale yellow flesh. By now the tree had spread over half the island. The roots, bigger than the canopy, bored down through the island and out the other side, hanging below. So from far off the whole island looked like a green jellyfish. Canopy for a head, the rock island its body, roots for tentacles. It worried me at first, but the roots were fine and thin, threaded through the rock like rebar. Reinforced rock holds far better than plain. Stranger still, the trailing roots snagged drifting matter like a net. In the realm, catching floating material was a constant problem. Things appear, and you can't fish them in time. That morning I'd nearly missed the water. Now I could react fast, working the roots to grab. And the key thing, the tree could move. It had awareness. That explained why I couldn't bond with bacteria but could with the potato. This was no ordinary tree, but a mutant one with a mind. Without my command, it could already snag passing rock. Clumsy, low efficiency, but working 24 hours. And with my command, more so, twisting to grab drifting stone, reaching into mist as a pathfinder. I tried pouring the last half of my fortune energy into another potato. 2 mutant trees, double the relationship rewards, maybe. And I came up empty. That potato sprouted and shot up, but stayed ordinary in shape, just growing. So that half was wasted. Fortune energy only speeds growth and may cause mutation. It's not all-powerful. A pity, I should have fed it to the tree. But not a total loss. It confirmed fortune energy was very like a fortune core, the two surely linked. Humans had found islands held 6 great cores, and merging one gave wondrous powers. The fortune core's traits were growth and evolution. That was part of why Mr. Zung said the next 3 months mattered. Choosing a core, a thing like a divine artifact for an island. I took a blade to the plain mutant sprout, of little use, just crowding the cramped island. And then a strange thing. Once cut, the tree's roots absorbed it, the sprout withered, and the tree surged again. Its fortune energy hadn't fully released. Same root, same source, the tree took it back. My half energy had wound a long path back to the right place. Not bad, no loss, and I'd learned more of fortune energy's workings. And the tree had changed again. Trunk gone from dull gray to emerald, thick leaves giving off a faint green glow, dreamlike. Fortune energy clearly evolved a plant. One point had transformed it. The thing barely had to do with potatoes anymore, still grew them. But with that glow it looked otherworldly, full of life, like a whole forest stood before you, the scent of tender leaves almost on your nose. Hard to describe, like seeing a smell with your eyes. Call it a world tree and people might believe you. Endless growth, the green of life. Was it heading towards some giant plant form? 2 changes, really. Roots ever longer, potatoes ever tastier. Delicious and gigantic. Both great for developing the island. Behind me the succubus sat dumbstruck, mouth stuffed with potato, forgetting to chew, like a koala with a leaf. My moves were past anything she knew. Was this still the world she knew? Her whole worldview, built on her inherited knowledge, I kept overturning. She'd noticed the tree too. Nothing like a potato, life pouring off it, absurdly large. The potato she'd eaten grew on it, and tasted wonderful. This is no ordinary plant. She touched a branch and snatched her hand back like she'd been shocked. Then, disbelieving, reached again. It's developed self-awareness. Deep surprise in her red eyes. It was almost like a wondrous plant from her memory, a world tree, said to grow into a world itself. No, impossible. In her knowledge, that was the elves' sacred mother tree. Even a succubus could barely get a single leaf, and if it were real, every succubus in that remembered city would come to settle here. Still, it was extraordinary, a true treasure of an island. Yi Fei, she said, looking at me. First 3 talents. Then a potato she'd watched me plan offhand had gained a mind. What next? Her curiosity about me grew. This human really was different. I was wondrous. And, honestly, that she'd been saved by me was wondrous in itself. The island was so small. By her view, just a big rock. And yet on that speck, in the boundless realm, it had met her. More absurd than 2 birds colliding in the sky. 1 coincidence is chance, 2 a miracle, and 3? She felt. dimly, a breath of fate. All this strangeness, plainly, was tied to this human. I kept watering the tree until it had fully absorbed the fortune energy. A breeze stirred it, sweet scent in the air, beautiful, the bare island made new. Pity the fortune energy's gone. But I wasn't worried. Other islands were still bare stone. Mine already had a plant that worked. Calling you a potato tree won't do anymore. From now on, you're the fortune Jinmu. Chime. Heaven and earth made all things, but the fortune Jinmu was made by you. Your bond with it has deepened, your fates more tightly linked. Cultivation relationship becomes creation relationship. Reward. Constitution +1. Your water sense is enhanced to water manipulation. My first relationship upgrade. Tide. I have returned. I beckoned, and a great body of fresh water surged up into the air, forming a wave. My control over water had jumped. Range and feel both up. One more step, and I might conjure water from nothing. This relationship business, I was doing it right. Noon in the star realm flooded everything with light, bright enough you couldn't keep your eyes open, like a flashbang. The heat climbed past 50 degrees, and on a bad day, 500 wasn't impossible. There was no sun here, but the colliding energies threw off blazing light and fire, strongest by day, forming suns that weren't suns, a sky hung with burning fireballs. Real fire, too. Fly into one, and you'd be ash in an instant, and they pulled at you, easy to get sucked in. Two of them floated near my island just then, pouring light and heat, weaving with the realm's flickering starlight into a scene almost too gorgeous to describe. Most people had no heart to admire it, though. They fled it. Especially the trial students. None of them able to develop their islands at scale yet, all hunched in their stone huts hiding from the weather. I was the exception. I surfaced from the pool with a contented breath. In heat like this, a soak was bliss. I'd collected 9 cubic meters of water, used 2 on the tree, and pulling out 4 for a bath was no problem. A single cubic meter was plenty to drink for a long while, and the bathwater wouldn't be wasted either, good for watering the fortune Jinmu or for selling. Yes, selling. This water could go straight back to Earth, no purification needed, and still rate as upper-grade fresh water. 210 billion people, pinned in the solar system by the Star Alliance for over 2 centuries. The scarcity was beyond an outsider's imagining. Nutrient fluid was nothing. The bottom rungs were said to be eating corpse starch. As a top school student, I'd never lived that. But even my daily bathwater had been filtered, recycled, and rationed. Only a small upper slice ever touched first-use fresh water. Too tight a life. That was exactly why I'd splurged on a pool. 3 years, and I'd never once had a proper wash. Poverty leaves a mark. So this was why everyone killed themselves to become a lord. Leaning on the pool's edge, I thought again of Mr. Zheng's advice and understood that first point. The next 3 months are crucial. Don't let your guard down. Far better than before. I thought I'd gotten it. I'd been dead wrong. Life in the star realm, even a little good, was so much better than Earth, with no one watching over you. Go from a high-pressure world straight to this, and it's easy to lose yourself, sink into comfort. Indulge, and 3 months slip by, and your shot at lordship slips with them. I was proof. A single bath had eaten half an hour, and I didn't want to move. I made myself rest just 10 minutes more, too hot to work anyway, and rest plus labor was fine, as long as it didn't tip over. I checked the phone. No reply from Lazy, but the class group had filled up. Woke to 3 fireballs orbiting my island. Any ideas? Hot as a dog. No better than the city steel mill. You ate dirt and found it tasty? You're not crazy. That's too much nutrient paste. Next to my comfort. The rest of them were suffering, oscillating between roasting and freezing. A portal cost too much to open more than rarely, so an ordinary person couldn't escape the weather until they'd ground their way to lordship. Some lived better than me, much better, but I didn't envy them. They had money. I had a cheat. Fair. The succubus sat in her chair watching me, biting her lip, hesitation in her eyes. Before, the most that had been shaken was her body. This time I'd shaken her whole worldview. She'd realized her old read on me was wrong. By her morals, I clearly wasn't like other cunning, evil humans. She was wondering whether to have a real talk with me. But I kept staring at the strange device in my hand, tapping away, plainly busy. And the pool was too small to squeeze into anyway. She figured she'd soak once I left, never tried it. but it had to feel good. 10 minutes later, I stood up out of the water, sunlight falling through the leaves onto me, and her gaze caught on me without meaning to. Damn it, standing up out of nowhere. Just some muscle, what's there to show off? She swallowed. There it was again, that strange feeling, like she suddenly wanted to eat something, mouth watering, but excited too, heart pounding, face hot. She was baffled. How did two senses get crossed like that? Her inherited knowledge wasn't all-powerful after all. It had no entry for this. Maybe she wasn't fully developed yet. Or maybe it was just that I was special. I steered the water back into the pool with the talent and glanced over at her, puzzled. Was my body really this striking? She couldn't look away, and I could practically see her drooling. No wonder a partnership was possible. Under the cunning succubus disguise, was she essentially a guileless, easily fooled girl? More precisely, she was still young, her body and personality and views all unset, still changeable. Though a leopard rarely changes its spots, this wouldn't be simple. So, have you decided? I asked. Stay or go? She went flustered. So soon? Before, there'd have been nothing to weigh, but now she found herself hesitating. The truth was I wasn't as bad as she'd imagined. A lot of it was misunderstanding from her knowledge. And being with me, talking, eating good food, really was nice, like I was actually her family. No scheming, no calculation, nothing like the dog-eat-dog life her knowledge described. A month together, and she'd come to lean on me, and she wanted to keep that. Told suddenly she might lose it, she instinctively wanted to grip it tight. Leave, and no one would ever treat her this way again. Seeing her at a loss, I said, you don't have to answer now. Think it over. The realm was boundless, and once she left the island the space would shift. The odds of us meeting again were near zero. She breathed easier, and a silence fell that she wasn't used to. We'd always just chatted before about anything. Now it felt awkward. Yi Fei, are all you humans like you? Easygoing, kind, she tried, opening the old way. Kind? Me? I looked her over. Was her head all right? Her IQ seemed to be slipping these last 2 days. Did she grow taller and dumber at once? Easygoing, I'll grant. But kind where? You saved me, gave me food and clothes, didn't abandon me when it mattered, even showed me a secret like your talent, shared good food, and gave me my freedom, she said, indignant. In her memory, those were things only a fool under a succubus's charm did. Succubi never did them for each other. It was a survival law carved into her knowledge. I clearly hadn't been charmed. So what was it but kindness? Your knowledge told you that too? My face went strange. Yes. Her chin lifted, a little proud. She knew plenty. And it clicked. I'd fallen into a habit of judging how I treated her by human morals. Wrong measure. The succubus race had a different code, their floor much lower. Harming others for no gain was normal to them. To a succubus, being inhuman was the moral baseline, and someone like me rated as a model citizen. It was funny, and a little moving. I'd never treated her as a person, done plenty of low things, and yet this was how she saw me. We'd had a lot of misunderstandings. Cross-species, the barriers ran deeper than I'd thought. Lucky for the system, we'd stumbled to near-normal relations anyway. Let me tell you a secret, I said. Actually, we both started at once. You first. We both stopped, then started again. Fine, I'll go, I said. I lied to you before. If I'd sold you to other humans, you'd probably have suffered badly. And I'd been weighing whether to kill you first and sell the body. Money's only good if you live to spend it. But honestly, what you said got to me, and then I awakened the system and decided to keep you. She glanced at me, smug. I lied too. I awakened a special talent, mind sense. Up close I can read your thoughts. Those few minutes the other day were very clear, so I knew your secret. So that was it. No wonder she was so good at charm and reading people. She'd been working a favorability bar this whole time, a built-in cheat. It explained how she swung between guileless girl and razor sharp. But clearly she couldn't sense anything about my system, or she wouldn't be acting like this. 2 things, I said, rolling my eyes. Quit bringing up those few minutes. And that talent's no mind sense. It's so feeble you should call it the squeeze theorem. Whose mind reading needs zero distance contact. Privately, I was grateful I'd been so quick, so careful, or she'd have seen everything. My talent can still grow, she huffed. You humans grow fast, but ours grows forever, a far higher ceiling. Oh, then how long does a human talent usually grow? By your reckoning, about 3 months, some longer, some shorter, the good ones up to 6. Still not us. Her mouth tipped up. Here, at least, she had me beat. True. So our strength is speed, our weakness the ceiling. I nodded, though I wasn't in that count. Form relationships, and I could grow without limit. You can't say it like that. Short doesn't mean low. I think your talent's quite good, she encouraged quickly, not wanting to dishearten me. Generally, more talents means a higher ceiling, and you've got 3, already at the level of an ordinary succubus. So work hard, don't slack the next 3 months. You're unlike other humans. By my knowledge, you're a top human genius. I believe in 3 months you'll be about my equal, maybe past me. She fought to keep her mouth from curling. Don't blame me, Yi Fei. This lies for your own good. I'm already past you, I said, smiling. Yes, past me, she agreed, sweet. It'll cool fast this afternoon. You've no clothes, so stay in the hut. I'll prep overnight materials. I started pulling the sun-baked stones into storage. The Star Realm's climate was extreme, far past any Earth desert. It's not cold yet. I'll help, she offered. A guest now, she couldn't just eat and drink for free. With her help we moved faster, and I had time to grind the sharp edges off the stones. An hour on, the fireballs guttered out and the temperature plunged to 0, but that made it the right time to be active. I took the chance to practice controlling the fortune Jinmo. I had water manipulation, and the tree's roots held plenty of water, so by moving that water I could indirectly steer the tree, use the island's tentacles to gather resources without risking going out myself. It went rough at first. The tree's mind was weak, about a bird's, less than a dog's. But it had a mind, and long practice would build the rapport. I'd also thought of a higher-tech method, the succubus as translator. Her mind sense was feeble, but touching me with one hand and the tree with the other might pass information. I actually took her horns in my hands and tried steering the tree like a wheel. Left to turn left, right to turn right, pull back to stop. It failed. She cooperated fine. She grasped my meaning before I even turned, but she could only read minds, not communicate through the ability. And even if her talent grew enough to send thoughts, the tree was too dim to understand them. The most it broadcast was hungry, eat, hug. Any exchange was slow and easily mistaken. In the end, plain water steering was the most reliable. The succubus wheel needed 2 conditions both met: grow her talent and evolve the tree again. The sky dimmed, the temperature dropping to 18 below, silver light rising in the realm, cold and ice balls forming in places. I ducked inside and laid the warm stones under the blanket. Storage didn't change them. So out they came scalding and stretched out on top, blissful. Tomorrow I'll get more stone, upgrade the floor heating, add an insulating layer to the outer wall, seal it tight, and buy some clothes. The island lacked everything. I'd explore for it or pay for it. A warm room took more than stone. I'd made do with a sleeping bag before, treating the island like a rental, no point investing. But the island was mine now, my long-term base, so I'd build it to a home standard. Insulating, airtight material was hard to make, though, mud at worst, cement at best. Good news, the material was nearby. After the storm, clearing the island, I'd found rock gone grayish-white, soft enough to scratch with a nail. Limestone, I'd recognized it. With Mr. Zing's knowledge and master-grade surveying, I now saw more. It held a little iron that hadn't oxidized red, meaning it had been buried deep, at least 10 meters down with no fissures, to look like that. So nearby there'd been a larger island or broken landmass, at least 20 meters thick, and the limestone came from inside it. The storm had shattered it. Find that main wreck and I could gather limestone to fire cement, maybe even soil to plant in. If not, enough limestone from the drifting rubble would do. Plan made. I checked the phone out of habit and found Lazy had replied half an hour ago. Sorry, brother. I'm a bit tight lately. Is $1 million enough? If not, wait a day, I'll ask my dad. But spending's been heavy, need to slow down. I gaped. I knew his family had money, but $1 million off the cuff. The man knew how to be relatable by the 100 million. This friendship was sealed. Enough, send it over, I said. Thanks, brother. I'll pay you back within 2 weeks. I'd only meant to borrow 100,000, mostly to top up the data, but $1 million opened the sky. With that money I could open a portal and buy what I needed, daily goods, clothes and a bed, and tools to expand the island. 2 weeks, I'd said. I'd thought to say 1, but didn't want to overpromise. I could make plenty selling potatoes and keep earning relationship rewards, but if luck went bad, Lazy had lent so freely, I wouldn't break my word. 2 weeks. Knock it off, he came back. What lord dares claim spare cash right now? Everyone's clawing for investment. I don't even dare speak in the group, scared of getting hit up. This money, I didn't expect it back inside 3 months, and don't you pay me, talking money strains brothers. Take it, develop, buy what you need. Once you're a lord, this is nothing. Warm. I said thanks. I couldn't exactly tell him I was different, that I could raise money fast. By my apparent talent, middling, I shouldn't be able to. Saying so would only seem distant. Still, I decided, the moment I had it, I'd pay him back first thing. My phone chimed, 1 million transferred in. Good. Tomorrow I could buy supplies and exploration gear. I opened the class group. The awakened were all showing off abilities, island photos, gathered resources. Everyone was doing about the same these days. Raise investment, plan construction, then the main event, gathering resources, since an island's whole point was feeding Earth, and the final trial score rode mostly on that. And I noticed plenty of classmates were shaky on the or around their islands. Study and practice differ, so they kept posting it for the experts to identify. As a survey master, it was time to show what I could do. Reading the last day's chat, my biggest takeaway was that Lazy hadn't exaggerated. Everyone was out hunting for backers, scrambling for cash. The islands started poor, even the lucky ones with or needed tools and labor to mine it. And all of that took money, which an ordinary person, whole family pooling, couldn't raise. So they had to find it. 2 fast routes for an awakened student. Draw an investor, meaning a conglomerate takes interest, or borrow. And if your grades had been excellent and you'd awakened, a teacher might rate your odds of lordship high and recommend you for a school scholarship. A third route, nearly free, where the second cost favors an interest and the first cost future island shares. I was using the last 2, Mr. Zhang's recommended path. But the lucky are few. Not everyone has a good friend or teacher at the crux. Most ended up at the bank, taking what they called an island loan, a dish every striving young person had to taste. I'd heard of people becoming great lords, near presidents, 10 years on before they cleared it. For a lord, repaying was a small thing. The danger was awakening, pouring in money, and never making lord. Then the loan was crushing, decades of it, unless you gritted your teeth for the front line, which canceled all reasonable debt at once. If I took a loan now and failed, I'd be paying 50 years into the year 2077. Conglomerate investment differed. Failed to make lord and you owed not a cent. They'd even clean up after you, but their bar was higher, not everyone, with a contract and future island shares. Still better than the bank for an ordinary person, which was why the most popular man in the group was the gray steel conglomerate's young master, Wang Yifeng. Besides construction, he was the main topic. He held vast resources, the one conglomerate figure everyone knew, and he was generous. Don't worry, anyone who didn't awaken can come to me. I'll place you. It set the group off, and it genuinely saved a few people, since society feeds no idlers. Don't awaken and find no job in a month, and you're hauled to the line past Jupiter. He was handsome too, and the Boulder girls were calling him Brother Feng. Across the whole school his family was illustrious. And he was now a top 10 name, ranked 3rd, nicknamed Feng Shui, riding high. Then a classmate posted, or, gold. You clown, gold that big? Looks like chalcopyrite, some pyrite mixed in. Still good, Xinshin's rich. The one who posted, Wu Xinshin, was a beauty, so the congratulations flew. Thanks, all. Help me check, is it chalcopyrite? If so, there's plenty nearby, probably some associated minerals. I'll post those, help me out. Likely chalcopyrite, but the point is whether there's associated silver. If so, the mining value's high. I just hired a survey engineer with 10 years experience. He can look. Wang Yifeng's avatar flashed, and the group lit up. People who'd been lurking surfaced, congratulating him on making the Shanghai City news, someone posting the clip. Feng Shui's incredible. Looks like this year's outstanding young lord is his. I started to see it. Wang Yifeng was ambitious. Generosity and free help had built him a good name and citywide fame, drawing in plenty of the school's commoner talents, who'd come work for him if they didn't make lord, and owe him a debt if they did. All incidental. His real target was Outstanding Young Lord of the Year. Feng Shui. I heard from a relative at the Education Bureau. Our school produced a double talent genius. Double talent? The odds are 1 in a million. That's a key cultivation target, guaranteed scholarship. Ask Feng Shui. Wang Yifeng smiled. I haven't asked, but I know who it is. Wu Xinxin caught it fastest. Haven't asked, but no. So it's himself. The group went silent, then erupted, all pouring off the screen. I was surprised, another double talent in class besides me. But his couldn't compare. Yesterday, I was a double. Today I had 3, one already upgraded once, grown to direct water control. Most people drilled 3 months to reach that stage. So I led him by over a month. Even a rich genius couldn't cheat talent. He'd have to grind it out. I wasn't like that. I smiled to myself. A boy got excited. Good news, the Bureau's about to release the school's talent count with a ranking. My relatives in the office, open the school site. It'll post in about half an hour. So Feng Shui's locked for school first. On talent alone, hard to say. There are over 100,000 of us this year. And I heard a girl in class 1 is also a double. But add grades and he's first for sure. Mr. Zeng must be beaming. Of course, we've given him so much face. Wang Yifeng took the flattery with a faint smile. He'd had plenty. What pleased him was that, per his father's instructions, he'd used the trial to hype his name hard and would now build a vast personal network with himself at the center, a real advantage going forward, one of his father's tests. Only an outstanding heir got the family business. Oldly, you're good with data. Post the list when it's out. Sure, Feng Shui. Lurking, I'd learned plenty. Double talents really were rare, reliably. The class 1 girl and Wang Yifeng. No wonder Mr. Zeng called it not rosy. Good for me. Though, more school attention, more scholarship, free money to back genius lords. I set my status to online to greet everyone, and right then the talk came around to me. Yifei still isn't online. Anyone know why? It was Wu Xinxin, the class's first beauty. People jumped in. Maybe something happened to him. Ask Chenlei, they're close. Not online means washed out. Even so, 3 years of classmates, he could say something. 80 of us, 19 lost, 71 left, 70 have spoken. Only Yifei hasn't. Your math was taught by the PE teacher? Lu Liang, can you watch your mouth? We all saw how hard Yifei worked, and he's got no family. A drop this big is hard. And don't be so sure. I think he awakened. Xinxin, how do you know? A girl asked. Wu Xinxin's heart skipped. She'd nearly let it slip. She couldn't say she was a looks-obsessed girl who liked secretly watching Yifei. When he didn't appear, she'd messaged him first thing, sure he hadn't gone back to Earth. He'd always reply if he had, and confirmed again just now. Still on his island, not on the death notices. Awakened then. He's our top student. I'd meant to ask him mineralogy. I called and got out of service area. So I figured he's still on his island, since he'd see messages fast if he'd returned. Calm. Solid analysis, Xinxin, but couldn't out of service also mean an unpaid line? Lu Liang shot back, and people nodded. Plenty went home buried in debt, and Yifei's family situation. Yifei's here. My avatar flickered online. Speak of the devil. Yifei, my man. Greetings poured in. Yifei, why so late? Wu Xinxin asked. Hit a storm. Lost signal. The island got wrecked. Just now got free, I said offhand. God. The Star Realm's dangerous. I heard those lost classmates were all storms, she said. You were lucky, must have been on the edge. We lost a dozen. Some islands looked machine-gunned. Then, you awakened, right? Yeah. Lu Liang popped up. Impressive, our top student. I thought you'd failed. Awakened means the scholarship's yours. 500,000, congrats. Wu Xinxin replied. Pleased. More than half. Around 800,000, since there are fewer winners. Right, low awakening rate this year. The prize caps out. Even so, 800,000's the first place cap, isn't it? Feng Shui's first. 800, second 6. Wrong. Feng Shui won't apply for a scholarship. So if Yifei's talent's decent plus his crazy humanities scores, he's likely first. People tagged Wang Yifeng. He nodded. Of course he wouldn't apply. He'd never even heard of it, and being told would have been an insult. He needed to court classmates and widen his fame, not chase a stipend. I didn't apply, he wrote, clean. Generous. Wu Xinxin, happy. Yifei gets 800,000. Treat us. Lu Liang. Congrats, Yifei, craziest luck I've seen. Sorry for the dumb things I said. Chunlei. I have to agree with Lu Liang for once. 1. Yifei's luck is insane. 2. You're an idiot. The group howled. Lu Liang's face went dark, but Chunlei was a rich young master he couldn't touch, so he played blind. Everyone assumed Chunlei was sticking up for me. Feng Shui gained lofty morals. Brother Fei gained the scholar's reward. Another fine tale. Screenshot, I'm posting this. Oldly. Yifei, shouldn't you thank Feng Shui? Tagging him. My face cooled. Out of nowhere I owed Wang Yifeng a favor? And given Li Mo ran close to Wang Yifeng. Me. No need to thank anyone. It's on merit. The group froze, sure they'd misread. Wang Yifeng paused too, then a flicker of displeasure crossed him. Humph. Fine, no need to force it. He wrote. Cold, and the chat went chilly, everyone steering around it. And I was stunned. Chime. Relationship established with classmate Li Mo, hostility. Reward. Agility +1, fortune energy +1. Chime. Relationship established with classmate Wang Yifeng, rivalry. Reward, spirit +1. You could do that? 1 line, 2 relationships. A double. Past the shock, I was grinning. And it wasn't done. Wu Xinxin had opened a private chat. Probably the your. Settle that, and I could make my name doing identifications. And the ranking went live. Wang Yifeng and the others saw the class board and turned to stone. My name first, 2 talents. Wang Yifeng second, also 2. The group sat silent before someone spoke. That's insane. Feng Shui's 2 talents are both good. What are Yifei's? For privacy and competition, the school ranked talents without publishing specifics. Call it even, both doubles. Yifei's ahead on humanities scores, probably. That was Li Mo, humanities way less, but count, and his grades were always better. Must be it. Wait, we can check the school-wide board. Someone pulled it. I was still ahead of Wang Yifeng, with 1 extra name between us. A Class 2 boy, Shimenjia. I know him, Class 2's top. A scholar, humanities like Yifei's. His talent level, I'll go ask. A while later, Li Mo, shaken. Shimenjia's 2 talents are fire and water. Complementary, scored very high. The group reeled. Water and fire together? Boundless future. The last one's already a great lord. So why's a double that insane still behind Yifei? Is Yifei's something special beyond elements? Wu Xinxin guessed. Lu Liang. So Chunlei's line about me wasn't mockery, it was a statement of fact. The group roared. Then more than a few faces went complicated. Wasn't it true of them too? What you've got there is chalcopyrite, I told Wu Xinxin in private, studying her photos. But the surrounding rock is coarse-grained biotite granite. A low-temperature, high-pressure product, the teacher said. Look, some mica's lost its black and gone clear, so the rock was later eaten by high heat, the iron in the biotite leaching out. Its secondary mineralization, the associated elements are probably gone, so as a copper mine the yield drops about 30%. Whether to mine depends on conditions. She didn't care about the why, so I gave her the bottom line. Wow, Brother Fei, you're amazing. But this didn't match what Wang Yifeng said. Of course, he hadn't really looked, just tossed it off, and said his engineer would check. She admired me, thought me skilled, but a student, how high could that go? And honestly, she hadn't come about the at all. A real scholar. I'll come to you with questions, she said, sending a selfie, scissor fingers. At a glance, it looked like a casual post-work shot, barefaced, sweat dampening the front of her shirt. But that effect took more than exercise. You had to pour water, and the angle was flattering. Not a casual shot. Come prepared. I just smiled and didn't bother opening it. Use that to test a future lord? I'd watched a Succubus for a month. My threshold was sky high. This stirred nothing. Small stuff. Xinxin, help me promote. Good reviews, post it around. I want to build a survey and identification business, master grade service. I sent the report file. She laughed, sure. Taking it as a joke, the master grade part. And this guy was impervious. Was the or really the point? Wasn't the photo pretty? She opened it herself. Gorgeous, so why no reaction from him? She shook her head. Handsome mattered, but you couldn't eat it. She had to become a lord. She called the engineer. Hello, is this Engineer Liu? Feng Shui's classmate. Tell me your island's geology, and send a detailed document. A document? She didn't know about that. Of course, talk alone's inefficient, and I've got a dozen reports to read. Engineer Liu, flat. He'd handled too many clueless students. It was the rich young master's favor, but to him just a chore. Engineer Liu, I happen to have a survey report with the geology recorded. Would that do? She opened my report, so detailed, illustrated, more precise than she could write, and sent it. I'll get back to you tomorrow, he said, and hung up. Tomorrow? She'd wanted to plan the next day tonight. But she and Wang Yifeng were only ordinary classmates, no special word given, so the engineer wasn't keen. And on my end, chime. Relationship established with Wu Xinxin. Secret crush, upgradable. Reward, charisma +1. What relationship? I spat out a mouthful of water. Absurd. I'd said all that to build a cooperation relationship. Through cooperation you deepen, win together, climb to higher tiers, and rake in rewards. But how do you upgrade a secret crush? Only through deeper exchange. Not impossible. Except I couldn't leave the island, and neither could she. The road had narrowed. Being handsome was its own trouble. The reward was unlike the others, charisma. I'd assumed I could only get the 4 basics: constitution, spirit, agility, strength. But my sheet had a new charisma line, Wu Xinxin standout, fitting for a beauty. A fine stat, lowering the cost of dealing with people, from the system's angle, better than strength or agility. But it needed face-to-face. Even a succubus can't charm down a network cable, so for now it was a bit useless. More people messaged, mostly congratulations, some girls just chatting. Those I didn't bother answering. Not that I didn't want relationships, but half-hearted chat formed none, and any it did form would be messy and bad for me. Better to find a few high-certainty classmates. After a while, 2 more friendships and 2 stat points, I set the phone down and slept. A full day's haul. I dropped off the moment my eyes shut, the warm stones beneath me hot enough that I rolled over. What I didn't know was that the succubus wasn't asleep. She heard me set the phone down and turned over, bit her lip, hesitated, and softly said, "Yi Fei." No answer. I was out. Listening to my steady breathing, she reached a finger close to me and lit a small flame, lighting my face. In the dim light, my features made her breath quicken, a faint pink rising on her skin. Asleep already? She'd seen me busy and hadn't wanted to interrupt. Now I was out, and she'd finally worked up the nerve. A flicker of conflict, then a kind of relief. Running away was shameful but useful, at least for now. Idle, her mind churned. Stay or go? Her knowledge said humans were cunning and evil, worse than succubi, only ever enslaving or enslaved. When you didn't hold the advantage, you kept your distance. Peaceful coexistence was impossible, this state a one-sided dream. But she believed I was different, and she confirmed it. She analyzed herself. Right now we were strange, not enslavement, not deceit, not control. She was guest, I host, equals, who through honest exchange knew each other's secrets and had built up trust. Not a trade, a strange thing called trust. And she leaned on me, wanted to stay, didn't mind the feeling, even enjoyed it. But that very joy, welling from within, brought an odd dread, an instinct to flee. A normal succubus shouldn't be like this. Her knowledge said such a state appeared only under control, total enslavement. A terrible thing to be avoided absolutely. But she could swear she wasn't controlled. The feeling had been there from the start, only stronger lately. Was her body developing wrong? Every group had its oddballs, its heretics. Maybe she'd grown crooked. The thought of facing the unknown, with no other succubus to consult, left her helpless. Maybe she should follow instinct, get away from me, and the abnormality would stop. This wasn't idle guessing. Studying my face just now, she'd found it lovelier than before, her breath quickening on its own, a helpless excitement. Impossible before. Proof I was affecting her, the influence deepening, and it wasn't magic or any drug, more like a succubus's innate charm. But a succubus drawn to a human. Could a human have allure? That was the knot. Her reason said staying would warp her into a succubus freak. Leaving, she couldn't bear. For the first time, she couldn't sleep. The first day of peaceful coexistence passed in insomnia. What? The next morning I woke to a lovely mechanical chime. My relationship with Wu Xinxin had upgraded. How? I stared at the prompt, dazed, and opened the phone to a string of grateful messages, and got more confused. You should have seen the engineer, read the report, and came scrambling, asking what my connection to Mr. Zung is. Yesterday, he couldn't be bothered with me. Today, he's out of my league. First time I felt what it's like to have someone up top. Thank you, scholar. So satisfying. Reading it, with the system prompt, I got it, and had to laugh. Mr. Zung was an industry heavyweight, and that engineer had been coached by him, so he knew Mr. Zhang's writing style and survey methods well. And I'd fully copied Mr. Zhang's master-grade surveying, so what I wrote wasn't just similar, it was identical. Call Mr. Zung himself, and it'd come out the same. Add that I really was a recognized student of his, and assuming I'd called in the man was perfectly reasonable. Mr. Zung wasn't someone an ordinary person could hire. Just consulting him cost 100,000 and up. So the engineer was shocked, envied Wu Xinxin, warmed up fast. And she was moved. It had played out about as I'd guessed. Her face flushed. She'd known Mr. Zung favored me. Not that it ran this deep, truly treating me as his own student, not a routine one. With that connection, my future would be bright. She envied it. And she liked me more. Before, just for the looks. Now this small help had floored her harder than any face. Like a handsome guy driving a supercar one-handed. Handsome and capable, she told a friend. Stop running a fever, the screen's about to catch fire, her friend Ling Qiu said dryly, flipping open the school board. Her own name sat first. Below it, Yifei second, Shimin Jie third, Wang Yifeng fourth. Yifei got some ability. But opening his profile, she was surprised and asked Wu Xinxin. Yifei took no conglomerate investment? No, no word of it. He turned down Wang Yifeng's offer yesterday. I admire that, unlike ordinary people like me, bowing all day. A pity. Pride's fine, but with Wang Yifeng he'd be a great lord, far easier early. Alone, he can't even pay workers' wages, has to mind himself, suffering for nothing. Lung Qiu didn't look further into me. She studied Shimin Jie and Wang Yifeng, knowing that for trial results, background mattered more than talent. Shimin Jie, a water-fire double, had black obsidian strong backing. Wang Yifeng was part of gray steel himself. Those two were the real threats. The top 10 were nearly all backed. Even Shimin Jie was from a double-talent family, since awakened parents more often produce awakened children and can teach them besides. The realm's early days had geniuses of every class, but over time ordinary people found it harder to rise. They were numerous, so they still produced talents like me every year, quickly recruited by conglomerates. Flip through past trial results, and the top 100 were nearly all conglomerate-backed. I might rise someday, but for now I was a nobody, not worth minding. Chime. Begun with looks, ended with character. Wu Xinxin is grateful for your understated, substantial help and is seriously considering how your relationship should develop. Your secret crush relationship has upgraded. Initial attraction to deeper thought. Reward, charisma +1, molten fire energy +1. So not every relationship needed my response. A secret crush ran on her own imagining. The molten fire energy, though? I felt a scorching power in me, a breath of destruction in it, a flash of a planet splitting, golden lava surging, the opposite of fortune's vitality. Molten fire energy. Molten fire core. Humans had found 6 island cores and grasped 3. Fortune, molten fire, thunder. I now had fortune and molten fire. Not cores, but the names too alike. My suspicion of the link deepened. Pity I couldn't get a core for 3 months. I searched fortune energy online. Plenty of noise, nothing reliable. Human society had never found this energy. 50,000 in data wasted, I stopped. Cursed Star Realm Network. The reason I slept with the phone off. One stray tap on a download, and I'd go broke on the spot. I chatted a bit more with Wu Xinxin, who happily said she'd promote my ore identification business, then stretched and got up. A night's sleep, 2 fortune energy, and a charisma point richer, a fine mood. 2 charisma, was that strong? Beside me, the succubus, dark circles under her eyes, turned and stared at me, more puzzled than ever. Was she wrong? Did I look even better? If she'd only suspected before, now she was certain. I've lost my mind, she muttered, a hand to her forehead, helpless, exasperated at herself. Definitely developing wrong. What to do? Tell me, and see if I had a way. 2 more fortune energy now. I looked around, evolved the Jinmu again. Any bigger, and I'd be sleeping on potatoes. The island was too small for a larger plant. I turned to the space beyond, where rubble drifted in the glow. Pull those chunks over and lash them with the Jinmu's roots, the way I'd built the hut. I could link a whole spread of islets together, giving the tree room to grow. Lucky, I might find limestone, even that island wreck, and double the island. No sooner thought than done. I worked the roots to fish the drifting rock, pile it at the edge, then bind and thread it through with roots into a clumped-together island. It looked flimsy, like it'd fall apart at a touch, but the roots growing through held it firm. Take the current island as the core and ring outward. Steering the roots through water manipulation, I was efficient, and the constant use grew the ability stronger and my handling smoother, at the cost of 10 minutes rest every half hour. Powers drained both body and mind. A heavy load, like hard mental work. Burn through nutrients fast, run hot, get hungry and tired. Good thing my body's enhanced, or I'd be resting every 5 minutes. I shook the sweat off, tired but pleasantly spent. Bodies are the capital of revolution. Stacking stats mattered, not just for combat, but for using powers longer. Paper learning is shallow. A day of practice taught me more than all my talent studies combined, my knowledge finally meeting reality. With the near rock gathered, the 2 fireballs blazed hotter, the temperature climbing to 43 degrees, every breath a stifling heat. Lucky for the Jinmu's shade, or the surface would have been unstandable. But the fireballs weren't a true sun. Their heat was limited, like a campfire's, so the island's shaded back was only 31, and the deeper shadows colder still, even below 0. That was the star realm, fire and ice coexisting, dark and light at once, set by the energy flow around you. Here is boundless. Here is endless wonder. Here the only constant is change itself, the textbook's opening line on the realm. I meant to use the island's shadow to explore the area the fireballs didn't reach, where there was more limestone. But first I needed a warm exploration suit, since the temperature swung wildly, and a body needed some defense beyond talent. Like a spacesuit, less bulky, no breathing concerns. I had the Succubus hide in the hut and opened the Realm shopping app, Star Ring Tech. Founded, they said, by one of the realm's discoverers, who'd invented the transit tech that let humans explore. I authenticated, tapped, I'm a student, and found discounts of 50 to 90%, a government perk for trial students. Skipping the million yuan goods, I went straight to the trial zone's student must-buys, discounts even deeper, many at 90% off, and still horrifying. A plain steel axe, 100,000. A titanium shovel, 300,000. Clothes, bedding, all in the tens of thousands. My 900,000 won't last long. I'd known the prices, but the big numbers still made me wince. The reason was in the breakdown. The axe itself was 30 yuan, the rest was transit. Buy the teleport, get an axe free. Opening one portal was terrifying, 10,000 at the lowest, into the millions at most, by mass and energy. I checked exploration suits, cheapest 100,000, priciest into the millions. Having read the shopping guides, I went straight to the 100,000 tier, and to my surprise there were many styles, some near identical to the million ones at a glance. Look closer and the cheap ones were all second-hand, each soul-ringed, some multiple times. One suit I saw, with jet propulsion and a grappling hook, was clearly Defense Force gear used in space. The blue Earth mark not fully scrubbed off, a patch on the chest. Stripped off the battlefield. Earth was so resource-starved that even bodies got recycled as organics, never mind clothes. A broke student takes what he can. I didn't mind secondhand. In the end, I picked a black, women's cut, form-fitting suit. It'd give me 2 bumps on the chest, ridiculous, and 100% pervy, but its stats were too good. Jetpack, grappling claws, excellent flexibility, even pure vacuum capability. Originally 3 million plus, now just 110,000. Practically free. Strength build, fear nothing. I gritted my teeth and bought it, and later, when I didn't need it, the Succubus could use it. Order placed. A portal just big enough for clothes appeared, a bundled suit tossed through, and the portal vanished. My first close look at one working, remarkable. With tech like this, why was humanity pinned on Earth? Couldn't they just teleport out of the cordon? Maybe it only worked between Earth and the realm. I shook it off and unfolded the suit. Then remembered and got my phone out to film an unboxing. A tip against getting cheated on big purchases. If the suit was damaged, I'd have proof. The hooded one-piece suit looked, all told, like glossy black skin-tight leather with a breathing mask, soft to the touch, rubbery, springy, about a centimeter thick, with a feelable inner layer of flowing liquid. That liquid was the main material: insulation, warmth, and cushioning in one. Star Alliance tech, supposedly. Opening the mask, I found a fist-sized patch at the back of the hood. The former owner's cause of death, plainly, a weapon punched straight through the skull. Fist-sized. Brains everywhere, I imagined. At least it had been quick. I pulled the suit open and checked inside. Washed clean, but I could swear I caught a faint smell of blood. Then my hand stopped. An inner pocket with something in it. A photo. Two short-haired girls, one tall, one short, alike and both pretty. One had to be the suit's owner. On the back, handwriting. Respected stranger, if you're reading this, I've fallen in battle. If you can, please pass these last words to my little sister. She's the only thing I have left in this world. I went quiet, then tried the number. No answer. So I texted it instead, relaying the message. Take care of yourself. Don't forget the promise we made. Then I put the phone away and pulled the suit on. It cinched tight the moment it was on, molding to my skin like leather, and the tightness had power in it. The liquid in the layer tensed and relaxed with my arms like an external muscle, quickening my reactions and boosting my strength. With one downside, the crotch was strangled tight, miserable to move in, easy to catch something. A women's cut, naturally no issue for the original owner. Lucky the fit adjusted, 3 settings, and on the loosest it was tolerable, even comfortable, if not flattering. But, again, strength build, fear nothing. The left hand fired a grappling claw 20 meters out, its cable rated for 2 tons. The back had a micro air jet, controlled by buttons on the glove. After an hour practicing, jet jumps, hovering, grapple shots, I tied a safety line at my waist and got ready to leap into the realm. The phone rang. The girl had written back. Hello, I'm Minghua. Can you keep the suit and the photo? Please, they matter a great deal to me. I'm serving in the fleet, about to become a veteran and get my bonus. I'll pay the full $3.5 million to buy it back. Is that all right? Fleet service, good grades, probably a pilot, far better than a frontline grunt. But become a veteran? The odds of that in any branch were brutally low. 100 battles survived first, I recalled. Aviators fared better than the boarding action infantry, but still only 1 in 10,000. Still, I typed fast. Don't mention it. Once my companion's done with it, you can buy it back for 110,000. Wonderful, thank you. May I ask your name? No need for honorifics. I'm just an apprentice lord, Yi Fei. I put the phone away. Limestone was drifting in. I worked the water in the roots, and they snapped to and caught it. More limestone drifted further out, past the roots' reach. Time for the suit. At the island's edge, I checked the weather. Calm, energy flowing steady, no storm coming. I ran the fire talent low to warm myself and resist the realm's energy, spread my arms, and leapt. Gas hissed from the back vents. Steering by the glove buttons, I closed on the biggest chunk and touched it. Gone into storage. Storage was a wonderful thing. As I gathered, I kept stopping to watch the energy flow. Climate observation, the most important part of realm geology. Get the other parts wrong, and you just misread and lose money. Get this wrong, and you lose your life. The realm was unpredictable, but energy flow and environmental shifts gave warning signs, the way a season eye reads clouds and wind on Earth. I had to watch constantly, so no storm crept up on me. The limestone came from some island. Following the scatterback toward where the storm had blown from might lead me to it. Islands were special. Maybe stone element gathered into a great rock, like the fireballs. Maybe a piece of a shattered world. Maybe a small world born of converging elements. Most were just a landmass fragment or a rock. Small worlds were rare, and rarer still, they said, were islands that were giant corpses. Ordinary students didn't dream of that. You got a random scrap of rock. A foothold. Build off it, explore, gather. One person, one island, and you develop by picking up trash. Plenty of limestone. And some scattered soil, good for farming. As I went, details I couldn't see from afar revealed themselves. Granite, limestone, some soil flecked. There was an island near here for sure. But over time I tired. Another realm trait. The chaotic energy erodes the body, so you have to keep running a talent to resist it. Moving in the realm looks effortless. No gravity. One push and you drift far. But it drains stamina and spirit every second. Even doing nothing wears you out and run dry, and you're in danger. A talent user's time in the realm equals the time they can keep a talent running. Enhanced and stat boosted, I lasted far longer than most. A freshly awakened apprentice managed 10 minutes. I had 30. Another perk of stat points. With more relationships, I'd grow freer still. My safety line ran from my waist to the island. You were watched from there. We'd agree to signal, steady tugs, and she'd reel me in. Even cut, I could find my way back by sensing the island's water. The line was just speed and a measure of trust, a test. Man and woman paired, the work goes easy. In that efficient mode, I ferried Limestone back and pushed further along the trail, returning every 20 minutes or so to sit and chat with her, resting 10 minutes before setting out again. Knowing now we could be partners, I'd already taken her as my own. A trustworthy ally to fight beside was nearly impossible to find these days, and I treasured it. A system-certified relationship, the partnership not formally sealed yet, but only a matter of time. And talking with her was a pleasure in itself. Limestone +1. Limestone +1. The island had nothing. I hauled back every stone I could carry. Ewer watched me go back and forth, looked at the line in her hands, and was moved, more sure than ever that I was a different kind of human. I worked till dusk. When the fire element energy ebbed, the fireballs died, and the temperature dropped. The island was heaped with limestone. The granite went into expanding it. The island was 45 square meters now, half again as large, thanks to Ewer, who reeled me home fast each trip. My exploration time only lets me fly out about 500 meters before I have to turn back. Today I covered 200, the rest tomorrow. I'd get a rough read on the surroundings from the day, and tonight I'd buy more gear, a generator and a powered tow cable, hard to find secondhand. Money enough? I opened the phone. The girl had written again. I made veteran. But the bonus is only 3 million. Can I owe you the other 50,000? 100 battle veteran? She was something. The line averaged tens of millions of deaths a day. Survive one day, and you're a veteran, promoted at least to company commander, sometimes straight to division. But the battlefield was so vast, even a division commander fought in person, so the casualty rate barely dropped. To get the 3 million bonus, you had to be 100 battle veteran. 100 fights, even at Jupiter's ferocity, was at least 2 months. Surviving a single day was that hard. 2 months. I felt genuine respect. I'd met a real combat genius, born for war, the kind of luck and skill it took, both top tier. So much on a battlefield is beyond control. One area weapon and countless soldiers and warships go to ash at once, no matter how good you are. General Inghua, you're too kind. My word stands, just 110,000. My companion's switching to new gear, so I'll mail this suit to you. 100 battle veteran was probably a general. Right or not, the title wouldn't offend. Thank you, Lord Yifei. But I don't know if I'll live to retire, and 3 million means little to me. Call it my thanks for giving me back something that matters. Please take it. 3 million, free. Absurd luck. But I shot back. No, I can't. My contribution to humanity isn't worth a hair on you. How could I take your money? I only hate that I'm too poor, or I'd gift you the suit outright. A righteous refusal. Take the money and we're square. And how do I build a relationship then? A beautiful veteran, the kind only in cartoons, if not now, when? 3 million was a hair next to that. But I really do need money. Call it a loan. 2,890,000. Interest at the Obsidian bank rate. Repaid with interest in a month. All right, she said. I sent my account. Never so eager to owe someone a favor. 3 million arrived. I wrote out an IOU and sent it. The contract was made. Chime. Relationship established with Inghua. Debt. Reward. Spirit +1. Comfortable. 3 million free and a spirit point. And spirit was exactly what I needed most. With it, the talent came easier. My usable time clearly longer. I wanted to test it at once, but it wasn't the time. General Inghua, where do I mail the suit? To the Jupiter Defense Force headquarters. I got ready to call the courier. Then gold text flared. Possible relationship, benefactor, and critical moment detected. Your relationship with Inghua stands at a crossroads of fate. Choose carefully. A critical moment, my second. It didn't appear every time. What triggered it? I set the question aside. You choose to mail the suit back. Soon, after a battle, Inghua is lost forever. I stared. So through these prompts I could glimpse a person's future. Soon, a battle, and Inghua would die. And with her, my connection, my relationship. I had to stop it. What if I didn't mail it? You choose to break your word. Soon, after a battle, Inghua is lost. Return the suit and the money? Same. Warn her off the fight? Same. No matter what, she died. But the system called it a critical moment. Then I understood. Inghua was a general, but on a battlefield of tens of billions, a general was just a larger pawn. Whether she fought wasn't hers to decide. If I couldn't stop it, I could mend it after. I thought of my fortune energy, strong vitality, and giving it to her was simple. Pour it into a potato. A potato that never touches rock or soil won't sprout, so the energy stays locked in until eaten. I'd confirmed that cultivating the Jinmo. You choose to mail the suit plus a potato infused with fortune energy. This saves Inghua's life after a battle, and your bond tightens. That one. I infused a small potato with a point of fortune energy and tucked it in the suit's inner pocket. General Inghua, the suit and photo are on their way. I slipped in a specialty of my island too. Eat it if you're hurt. It'll speed your recovery. I didn't fear the potato being seen. In the realm, anything was possible, and awakened a talent covered everything. I called the courier. A small portal appeared, and I dropped the package through. The mass had grown, so the fee was up 10,000, 110,000 to buy, 120 to send. No loss. My account held over 3,700,000, most of it gone to comms and data. First thing with money. Pay debts. I transferred 1 million to Lazy. The remaining 2,700,000 would buy a generator, tow cable, a bed, gear, enough, with some to spare. But I wouldn't hire workers yet. Ordinary people couldn't go out into the realm or stay long on an island. They could work a month, rest a month. The rich were hiring to build fast, but I had a helper already, equal to one hire, and with so many secrets and so small an island, an outsider would expose me. Efficiency could wait until the island was bigger. The phone buzzed. Lazy, up and on his phone, calling instead of texting, too worked up to type. Yi Fei, tell me straight, did you sell yourself? Not happy, worried. Repaid a loan in a day. No lord raised money that fast unless they dug up gold or some treasure, and he knew my island was bare rock. Listen, don't take conglomerate money. You take it, you're beholden, and with 2 talents there's no need. Don't sweat the trial's short-term gains. Get through and you'll have far more freedom later. Borrow from a bank if you must. Take their money, get equitied, and you really lose your seat. Relax. I happened to meet a frontline general online, did her a small favor, and she gave me 3 million. Long story short, a pause. He was digesting the absurdity. Really? Of course. Just promoted general, a beautiful veteran, pilots a mech. I sent her a local specialty too. See if I can build a connection. With your looks, won't that veteran take a fancy to you? We haven't met. In person, maybe she would. Honest, I was handsome, and with 2 charisma now, a humanoid succubus wasn't much of a stretch. Heh, this beauty, is she named Inghua? I blinked. How do you know? A little virgin's got quite the imagination for his fantasies, Lazy said coldly. Tell me where the money really came from. With our friendship, you're short on cash and don't come to me. Do you look down on me? I actually borrowed from a bank. I'm not short, but the person wouldn't let up. Speechless. See, it wasn't that I wanted to lie. Nobody believed the truth. Fine, fine. Chat on the app. Calls are too dear. He hung up. How did Lazy know Inghua? I opened the phone. Beautiful soldier girl had hit the trending list. Inghua was the hottest war hero of the moment. Her combat clips half simps, half husband comments. Dazzling record plus a pretty girl. It had blown up everywhere, with the propaganda department surely pushing it. But even Inghua, this watched, faced near certain death in the fights ahead. The battlefield's brutality was plain. Then Lazy sent a link, battlegirl.avi. Yeah, my favorite clip, exclusive, no source online. I opened it, disappointed. Just Inghua walking around a base, clearly filmed in secret by some soldier. What was special about that? Let me share an exclusive too. I trimmed the suit unboxing video to the part showing her photo and sent it. On the other end, Chun-Lei was floored. He actually knew her? What? Was that true? He was stunned. A super popular battle girl. She really likes you? Gave you 3 million? I don't believe it. Envy red-eyed. Kidding. I bought something she wanted, then borrowed 3 million off her. Borrowed? Are you stupid? He went anguished, wishing he were me so he could run it right. Wasn't this the moment to give it free and win her favor? But brother or not, this was better than selling himself. Listen, grab hold of this. If she survives, she'll grow into one of the military's top figures. Watch the clips. She's a genius with top combat instinct. Terrifying. You'd skip 30 years of grinding. And you're no slouch either. The two of you, military and lord, soldiers and resources, that's a strong-on-strong alliance. You sick? You meet a girl, and you've already named the kids. Rich young master, evil capitalist. If I don't think about this, what do I think about? In school, I never raised it. But out in the world, you'll learn this stuff done right helps you enormously. What are the odds a combat genius like Inghua lives a year? I asked. You're asking the right person. My dad asked a military bigwig. 1 in 100 million. That low. I'd guessed 1 in 10 million, like the net did. Real numbers off by an order of magnitude. Don't trust the net. Just know I'm not lying. I can't say more. 1 in 100 million. I opened her photo. No wonder she didn't care about 3 million. Earn it with your life. No life to spend it. Would she ever leave the battlefield? I went restless, not anxious for her, but disgusted with this rotten world. Worried already? Relax. Her combat ability's fierce. A year's down to luck, but 3 months I'd put high. Survive 3 months, and she's an elite veteran, with a chance to pick her post, run it well, and survival odds jump. The military won't waste a genius on the line for nothing. I nodded, heartened. So Inghua just had to last 1 more month, and with my help her odds were good. We chatted a while more, then I lay down, opened the shop, and bought a battery generator and a powered tow cable rig, both pricey and heavy. The transit fees high, 2,330,000 together. That about cleaned me out. The leftover few $100,000 had to stay for data and emergencies. No wonder even a rich kid like Lazy struggled. The early investment was terrifying, and I'd only bought small gear. Full kit like the others ran tens of millions, no ceiling. I'd skipped the bed to save money. Cheap, but heavy, 20-some thousand to send. I'd sleep on the blanket. Besides, Ewer was there to cushion me, sweet and soft, better than a bed. Then my nose twitched. The scent was off, strawberry a few days ago, much fainter now. Still nice, faint but not gone, like orchid. A succubus's body scent changes with mood and diet, and our saliva and sweat turn sweet too. Ewer explained, reading my confusion. Impressive. So you're sweet from every angle? Even your spit. Your feet don't smell sweeter the more you cover them, do they? This a new ability. Since that potato, I've felt a faint energy in me speeding my development. I'm about 10 days ahead of where I should be. That's my talent's special energy, fortune energy. I put it in the potato to make it grow fast. Off the cuff, lying on her soft belly, skin to skin, and even so she didn't catch the lie. When the system was involved, she couldn't sense the thought. And it wasn't really a lie. If gaining strength from relationships was a talent, the energy was the talent's product. Then if you put it in me, would I develop faster? Her eyes lit. I shook my head. Maybe. Or maybe unpredictable changes. We can't take that risk. You don't want to swell like a potato, sprout 2 rows of who knows what, look nothing like yourself. No. She shivered and shook her head hard. So better to just eat more potatoes. Through them I know the energy's safe. And faster isn't better. With us humans, developing too fast is precocity, leaving you shorter, organs shorter-lived. It takes hospital treatment, growth-suppressing shots. Don't take this energy on purpose. Wait till I've mastered the talent and understand it. Safer to wait for Inghua's results, or buy animals to test. She nodded, sweet, trusting me now. I slept comfortably till dawn, washed up, and went to cook. Only Ewer was already up, breakfast made. Open up. She slid a piece of roast potato into my mouth. How is it? Eager. She'd watched and learned in secret, up early working on it, the 3rd version. A fast learner. In 2 days she'd picked up roasting and braising potatoes, surprisingly good. It's good. My mouth tipped up. A beautiful succubus serving breakfast. Fine mood. Try my braised, improved on your method. Sweet smile. I tasted it, fragrant and a little sweet. The mutant potato was already delicious. This lit my eyes up. But where'd the sweetness come from? I hadn't bought sugar. Guess. A possibility hit me, and my face changed. It's spit. I added spit, she announced, proud. I choked. Not good. Puzzled, she dabbed some on a finger and tasted it. I searched her face for a joke and found none. Clear eyes, genuine confusion. It's not about good. Saliva has bacteria, it's unhygienic, you can't put it in food. Smart, but no common sense. No human common sense. More education needed. I'll listen to you, she nodded. Her knowledge said the things on her body were useful weapons, but if I thought it unhealthy, she'd change. Since accepting me as a special case, she took my advice easily, not just her knowledge. After breakfast, I started the island's big build. Day 4 of the crucial second phase, and the results showed. Yesterday's rock, threaded into the Jinmu's roots, had fully merged in. The island was about 45 square meters, more than double the start, and the Jinmu wasn't slowing. Pile up more rock and its roots would keep growing. Once I had enough rock, I'd gather more water into a lake, plant other things, use fortune energy, and a small island world would be born. Small worlds had special powers, I'd heard. I was eager. At this rate, I'll top 1,400 square meters in 2 months, and that's the floor, since my ability keeps growing. My home will sit under the Jinmu at the island's center, with a lake beside it, starlight on water, a fine view, and the water moderating the temperature. As the island grew, its resistance to the realm would rise, making it more livable and letting ordinary people stay longer. I also had to watch the expansion direction. All of it was bunching behind the house, in the fireball shadow where I'd gathered most rock, turning the island from oval to a long strip, structurally unstable. So I'd expand evenly into a rough circle, a big flatbread. I set the generator and powered tow cable at the center beside the Jinmu, lashed with stone and roots. The island's load center, the whole thing bound together by the roots, so even hauling something massive wouldn't tear it apart or flip it. Yes, a floating island floats in the realm, like a ship in space, free to move any direction and to be flipped by force. But by realm law, any island over 10 square meters generates gravity in one direction, so people stand firm. Even if the island rolls, without a reference point you'd notice nothing, and nothing falls off into the realm. Tow cable fixed, work began. With 10 cubic meters of storage, I hauled like 10 men. With the cable, Ewer hit a button and reeled me back fast once I'd loaded up. Quick and steady. Exploring all day, near quitting time, I finally found the empty island, storm-wrecked, split down the middle, about 40 square meters left, full of limestone. Adding it pushed my island past 100 square meters. Ewer wasn't idle either, working the cable while picking ripe potatoes between times, storing them in the room. Each time I came back to rest, she had me covered, a wet towel for my sweat, water, potato soup for stamina. She was helping build the island her own way. When I hauled the wreck home, she cheered, rushed over, and spun me around in a hug, celebrating. Building your own home is that satisfying. I also discovered a special use for Ewer, one needing no effort, just her presence. Breathing her faint scent, my stamina recovered faster and my whole body eased, like soaking in a spring. I thought it imagined at first, but a day of testing showed it worked like caffeine, exciting the body, speeding recovery, filling me with strength. Limited, like caffeine, the first dose strong, diminishing after. Her scent, sweat, saliva all did it, escalating. The scent only lifted the spirits. Sweat, on contact, raced the heart and sharpened the mind. Saliva was like being electrified, blood surging, strength spiking, every sense heightened, even to palpitations. Tied, clearly, to a succubus's nature. I figured the abilities weren't really meant for this, like caffeine, first used on draft animals to make them work harder before factory owners found it worked on people. I'd just developed Ewer's other uses. Back at it tomorrow. Full of drive. Time to name the island. Hands on hips at the center. I felt the satisfaction only an owner feels. This was my main base. It needed a formal name. Browsing the group and sites, apprentice lords had all named theirs. War Fortress, Invincible conch, wide silence, peach blossom isle, mantis shrimp, June flower. I looked for inspiration and only got more confused. Chronically bad at naming, I came up with nothing. How about home? Star Realm home. You were suggested serious. Too plain. Home, plain? You should know, building a home on an island is for hugely powerful beings, immortals at least. In my memory, succubi built only 2 homes. One was destroyed in war, the royal heir lost, leaving our kind to wander. I shook my head, smiling. Home's not plain. I mean, too many people use it. The name gets registered, used in formal settings forever. You don't want to call out home and have hundreds of lords stand up. A name should mean something, tied to the lord's traits, my talent, my background. Because once said, it never changes, lifelong, sometimes a banner, a spirit, a rallying force. I see. Once named, it's like a magic contract, bound by the world's rules, she said, dawning. No wonder you named the potato tree Fortune Jinmu. A blessing that it stay forever bountiful. Huh. You know, some names in our world really do carry a kind of magic. I liked her reading of it. Yifei, I want a name too, she said suddenly. Give me one. She looked up, beautiful eyes hopeful. A name? I paused. I'd never meant to name her. Naming makes attachment. Like a pet. Unnamed, it's just a dog, and dead it's dead, no great grief. Named, you've given it deeper meaning, put in thought and feeling. So I'd never have named a succubus. But now, she did need one. I mused, then said slowly. You or how's that? You for the surname. You take mine, I lose a little. You means a peerless beauty. Air's just a softening sound, nicer to say. Good, the contract is made, she said happily. From now on I'm Yi-Yor. Red light flickered in her pupils. I sensed a slight change in her, but looking close, nothing. Was this the extra benefit from the critical moment choice arriving? I touched Ewer's belly. Warmer, almost hot, the skin gone faintly pink from white. I knew her well now. This was a sign of using her talent. That tickles. She laughed and let me check, not hiding it. She hadn't meant to hide it. She could have just looked down so I wouldn't see the red light. Trust was mutual, and she'd worked hard for this and treasured it. So her little moves were out in the open. Just a little, since too much spoiled the surprise. Tell me, what are you up to? Can I not? She stuck out her tongue, cute. Please, I'm not ready. When I am, I'll give you a surprise, an absolutely precious gift. Absolutely precious? My face went odd. Everything on the island was mine. You were included, so what could she give me? But I smiled. Then I'll look forward to it. Ice and fire turning, starlight shining. Another night passed. After Ewer's hand-shaped potato balls, I burped, content, and toured the island, surprised to find it had grown another 10 square meters or so, rock lashed roughly at the edge. Clearly the Jinmu's work. Not bad. A plant working at all was astonishing. I couldn't ask much. Good job. Here's your reward. Keep it up. I touched the trunk, green light on my hand, and poured my last point of fortune energy in. The branches swayed, danced beside me, and grew. With the island over 100 square meters now there was room. I enlarged it and lengthened its roots to better catch passing rock. As the island grew, the roots reached further, snared more, an island that grew itself. The thought delighted me. The one pity was the Jinmu's mind being so weak, its understanding limited. But I believed it would grow like Ewer. How far, I couldn't predict. It was unprecedented in human history. Even Ewer, with her inherited knowledge, had never heard of such a plant, only judged it a wondrous one, usually unique. I couldn't reproduce it with another potato. But it was so huge now that evolving it ate a lot of fortune energy. I needed more relationships. The phone buzzed, an unfamiliar classmate. Wong Hong. Brother Fei, got a minute? I'd like you to identify some, and check my island's geology. Work. Sure, but it takes time and effort, so I'll need some compensation. I know. Can I write an IOU? I'm a little short. Embarrassed. He'd skipped the proper online engineers partly on Wu Xinxin's account, partly because he'd gone to Wang Yifeng, and there were 100+ people ahead of him. Unless Wang Yifeng named you, you'd wait forever for one of his engineers. So he came to me, a classmate, to run a tab. Any other engineer would have ignored him. But to me the money was incidental. Closing the deal mattered more. I made him wait, then replied, Fine. Send me the IOU later. Great. He agreed fast. Half an hour later, I'd reviewed his materials, waited another half hour, and sent a geology report. You're lucky. The energy flow around your island's fairly mild. By my read, no major change for at least 10 days. Congratulations. No valuable ore, but a stable environment was a big advantage for exploring and building. Though stable also meant fewer new resources drifting in. The bigger the waves, the pricier the fish. I wrote it all honestly. The call was his. Soon Wang Hong sent an IOU, 10,000 for the survey. Low, since I had no name or certificate, which was what I wanted, a friendship price. Chime. Relationship established with Wang Hong. Debt. Reward. Fortune energy +1. No stat point this time. Recalling Yinghua's debt gave only a spirit point. So this tier of relationship paid little. And Wang Hong had come thanks to Wu Xinxin, who'd quietly pushed without telling me. Decent of her. I opened the group. Sure enough, she was discussing her island and let slip that I'd done the report. Quality soft advertising. One after another, more classmates came, 10,000 each. 2 struck debt relationships, 1 paid cash, and I promised after-sales service, staying in touch, forming a cooperation relationship. In half a day, just lounging with my phone, I gained 3 fortune energy and a strength point. I poured the 3 into the Jinmu. Its roots spread until they drifted over 50 meters out, the whole island ringed in a dense web like a paramecium, raking in rock, at least double the old efficiency. And I'd harvested 3 more batches of potatoes, worth about 1.5 million. A killing. My first bucket of gold, grown on the island. And it's only half a day. Once word spreads this afternoon, more should come. I looked forward to it. But when I came back from a few exploration runs, the expected income hadn't arrived. Not one classmate had come. I opened the group and went displeased. Someone was bad-mouthing me, saying my level wasn't up to par, charging fellow classmates, and so on. My climate's stable 10 days, so I can ease off insulation and put more time into exploring. I've got low-grade ore, hard to mine. I'll tow it behind the island and mine it once my gear arrives, to boost yield. Wang Hong, how do you know you're safe 10 days? Heh, asked Yifei, of course. Normal so far, as I'd expected. Then Lu Liang jumped in. Classmates, old Wang sent me his report too. Honestly, his level's quite good. I can't touch it. But quite good for a student. No match for a real engineer. So you can ask Yifei, but don't take it too seriously. Arrange your work by that report, and if something goes wrong, he shrugs, he's just a student. Then some sly-eyed smirk emojis, all-knowing. Wang Hong fired up first. Lu Liang, at your level don't comment. Yifei predicted the trend for my island the next few days. If it's wrong, I can switch. Facts will tell. Right, we've all got the next day's forecast with characteristics summarized. Right or wrong will be obvious. Wu Xinxin, like a weather report, we can judge accuracy ourselves. Why are you barking? The other clients bristled too. Lu Liang wasn't just calling me unfit, he was calling them blind fools cheated out of money, and saying it to a crowd. Have they no face? And I dared to commit, making bold environmental predictions in the report, unlike engineers who only spoke in vagueness. I'd said it could be wrong, but it clearly wasn't all nonsense. Lu Liang, fine, I'll stop, just reminding everyone to be careful, not to get cheated, since Feng Shui has engineers for free. Yifei charges, we're all classmates, that's not very loyal. More people piled on him. I asked little, and a thorough report took real time and effort. Comparing me to a tycoon like Wang Yifeng was shameless. I was about to wade in. If Lu Liang muddied this, my business would suffer. The others said they disagreed, but would mind it some. Then Wang Yifeng's avatar flashed. He'd just come online. Lu Liang, what the hell are you babbling? I don't charge because I've got money to spare. Other people charging is only right. Lu Liang went silent. He'd never expected Wang Yifeng to round on him. And this was someone he couldn't offend, so he played blind. And Yifei's level isn't for trash like you to judge. He's on par with a mid-level geological engineer. Charging that little to study your island's environment in detail, be grateful. Wang Yifeng dropped offline without another word. A mid-level geological engineer? Everyone froze. No way, Yifei's that strong. But Wang Yifeng had no reason to flatter me. So however unbelievable, it had to be true. I was a little startled myself, then figured his engineer had told him something. The man had some breath. After that incident, my business boomed. A dozen invitations in minutes, some sending deposits outright. I didn't take them all mindlessly. I picked 5 close contacts and got to work, then had Ewer reel the cable over. Realm exploration, go. Exploring the surroundings, any windfall, a gold vein, a big island, couldn't be measured in mere millions. So going out was vital, like a lottery. Maybe you hit the jackpot. I split my time, 2/3 exploring, the rest resting and writing reports. And I noticed Ewer was doing 2 things too. Each time I left, she'd go into the room, red light flickering inside. The gift, maybe. At night, she couldn't hold it in. Remember the gift I mentioned? Ready? I looked at her, pale but excited. Nearly. She lay on the blanket and crooked a finger. Come, try. What kind of gift was this? Then strange red patterns surfaced over her body, spreading from the belly, around the navel, upward, wrapping and twining like a red garment. Painted markings, really, glowing faintly red, the source of the light. The air around went restless, the air before me seeming to turn pink, a low sound at my ears that vanished when I focused. Remember the contract magic? She said. As I've grown and gained more knowledge, I found that though it's a magic for enslaving others, parts can be changed, made fair. It can even be simplified, only half the ritual performed, so the other simply gains my talent through my blood and forms a special bond, at no cost, since the ritual isn't completed. Impressive. Thumbs up. She'd studied her knowledge deeply, not just memorized the fact. Her learning talent was no small thing. And this was the extra benefit the prompt mentioned. So the master-servant relationship was happening? Except it wasn't enslavement anymore. I'd get a talent free and a special bond with Ewer. I had the talent already, but a special bond was good. Or maybe a random new talent. Then I'd have to call you master? I smiled. If you'd rather, I'll call you that, she said, glancing at me, mouth quirking. Come in. I need to test the ritual. Pretty bare bones, your ritual. I'd have guessed a lot of lead-up enticement. A little disappointed. I'd expected some grand thrill. Nothing, just a dry rite. What are you thinking? I said it's only a test, not the real thing. The ritual itself isn't hard, but modifying it to half is, and uncomfortable. She explained. Got it. Come on. Beg me. Please, run the test. Red light filled the room. She cut her palm and let blood drip onto my chest, where strangely it didn't spread but formed an odd heart-shaped mark. Careful, blood isn't like saliva. It'll make you charge like a bull in rut, but your body can't take it long. You'll pass out soon. Oh, trouble. Why mention it now? My body wasn't what it used to be. I meant to warn her, but my head went hot, and the rest was beyond me. When I came to it was next morning. My memory's a blur. I ache all over. Did 10,000 bulls run over me last night? I lay there, sighing. I'd overthought it. My body really couldn't take a succubus's blood, far stronger than saliva. Last night felt wild and dreamlike at once, all unreal, and I felt weak, my vision dim. I had a feeling that if I touched any of her fluids now I'd black out from the rush, like too much coffee, overstimulated past taking any more. But turning to Ewer, I froze. She was still asleep. Before, I was always the one who collapsed. Her face was pale, hair tangled and loose, some of it caught in her horns, from me pulling at her, I supposed, though I didn't quite remember. For the first time I felt no endless allure off her, only weariness and exhaustion, and it shook me. I took her hand. The cut healed, but just as she woke and yanked it back, I held on. You tested the bloodletting beforehand? Several marks on her palm. Even with fast healing, it made my chest ache. I couldn't just test it on you cold. For safety, I'm not fully developed. A lot of the steps are hard to manage. She stuck out her tongue, playful. So you do know you're not fully developed. My face went stern. She went quiet, scared at my real anger. Of course she knew it was harmful. She'd only wanted a tighter bond with me. Nothing tighter than a contract, she thought. Absolute trust once done. Her own selfishness, unspoken. Don't do this again. Play it safe. Never anything that harms your growth, I said. She nodded, and though my tone was hard, somehow it warmed her. Chime. A succubus, too, has moments of sacrificing for another. You've turned part of her evil nature. Your bond with Ewer deepens. Nominal father-daughter becomes cultivation, You shaped her. Reward, charisma +1. Your demon flame ability is enhanced. Educating a succubus got me an upgrade. I looked at her, fonder by the moment. No succubus, but my treasure, sprouting abilities and stat points on demand. I tested demon flame. I could now gather a palm-sized fireball, over 3 times stronger, up to 5 or 600 degrees. Real fire attack at last. Wow, Yi Fei, you're amazing. Your talent grew again. Small thing, we humans are fast. I smiled smug, then froze. Just now, I hadn't heard her voice. It had sounded straight in my head. She smiled, silent. Your ability grew too? Surprised. She copied my smug smile. Impressive. Looks like, same as us, using and practicing a talent grows it. I tested hers. This time her mind sense had gained, beyond stronger perception, a new function, direct mind-to-mind communication. Now that's interesting. No more squeeze theorem. In a forest you'd be half a druid. I didn't move my mouth, but she understood. I didn't even have to explain druid. The mind talk was that wondrous. With this, controlling the Jinmu gets far easier. Even complex commands work. My eyes lit. Going forward, while I explored, Yuer wouldn't just pick potatoes. She could direct the Jinmu to pick them and keep growing them. A potato farming base. 1 potato, 500 yuan. Plus 500. Plus 500. The more I thought, the more excited I got. I scooped Yuer up and kissed her. Then, careless, I touched her saliva, and already worked up, my vision went black, and I fainted, happily. When I came to it was noon. Outside, the fireballs had bleached the island white. My body was spent, low on stamina, so I wouldn't go exploring the rest of the day, but not out of laziness. I'd processed the resources I had. They'd piled up badly, choking the island's space. It was time. I had 3 valuable things: fresh water, potatoes, and limestone. Water was scarce, so I'd keep collecting it. Potatoes weren't numerous enough yet and didn't take much room, so I'd stockpile and sell in one batch. A fine payday. Around 500 yuan a potato, and with 4,000 on hand that was 2 million. The limestone, though, was enormous. 45 cubic meters or so over a few days, still growing as the Jinmu raked more in around the clock. It was heaped in a corner taking up a huge patch, soon to top half the island. I had to deal with it. Limestone is soft. You can dig it with a fingernail and water-soluble, so it's no good as building material. I couldn't make it part of the island. The wrecked island I'd found had crumbled precisely because it was full of limestone, strong outside, hollow within. 2 ways to handle it, by what I knew. 1. Process it into cement. 2. Sell it raw as ore. The first paid well. The second barely paid at all, like selling scrap paper, a few hundred yuan a ton of hard labor, less than one of my potatoes, since the portal shipping was so brutal that hauling heavy or raw made no sense. But during the trial, most lords chose to sell raw, since they had no processing gear early and probably wouldn't find much limestone anyway. A whole cement operation might never break even. I, though, happened to have something. I'd used fortune energy and found it carried growth and evolution, much like humanity's strongest card, the fortune core. So I guessed molten fire energy resembled the molten fire core, whose textbook trait was fire. And cement needs fire. Mix limestone and clay 3-to-1, calcine it a while, and you get cement. The gear is a simple kiln, which I could build from rock, a stone furnace with a fire below and limestone above. The crucial step was the calcining, and as long as I had flame at around 1500 degrees, it wasn't hard. With cement, my stone hut could upgrade to a concrete fortress. The gaps between stones sealed, insulation transformed. All assuming molten fire energy actually worked. I got a potato and tried pouring molten fire energy in, a step I knew well, only this time not fortune energy. The potato burst into flame and burned to ash before I could be glad. But it didn't disappoint me. It told me molten fire energy held intense, high-temperature fire. So I needed a material that could bear extreme heat. I looked around and settled on an alloy axe in the toolbox. Urit. Fire's delight, burn. The axe head sheathed in flame, glowing molten orange. It's on fire, stronger than hellfire. Yuer marveled, leaning in. Yi Fei, did you awaken another talent? Of course. For me it's as easy as eating. Bragging. You're fooling a 3-year-old. She rolled her eyes. But you really aren't like other humans. Maybe you've got another race's blood. Maybe you're a hybrid. Ever hear of dragons? Her only explanation. Otherwise, the talent was too absurd. 4 talents was a fine level even among succubi. Dragons? This world really has dragons. Of course, and a dragon goddess, Tiamat. Dragon blood is all through the star realm. They can mate with nearly any creature and bear young. Now that's impressive, dragon-pressive. A wider world than I'd thought. But why had humanity never found other creatures? They'd made plenty of noise here. I listened to her tall tale a while, then checked the axe, stabilized now. So molten fire energy turned to high heat inside the object, didn't spread, or spread very slowly. The rock the axe touched had blackened but hadn't melted or heated. Good, meaning I could safely use the axe as a heat source until the energy ran out. Safer still would be tungsten, with its high melting point, to hold more of the energy. I used tongs to set the enchanted fire's delight into a kiln I'd built and stacked limestone above it, gaps left for the heat to rise. Burning rock. Burned. Its nature changes. Crush it, add water, and you get cement, I explained. Cement mixed with sand and gravel sets like real stone, hard, and all one piece. A wondrous technique, like earth magic. But won't it waste water? We're short on water. True, a water-hungry product, and precious water at that. But that was a foolish worry. Plenty of the upper crust had swimming pools. Why was I pinching here? Their daily toilet flush water would carry me a year. As long as it didn't cut into my own supply, I'd do what I had to. I messaged Chun-Lei to ask about selling cement. I could pick a vendor on the government platform myself, all reliable, but using a connection saved haggling and time. Cement's easy. Several of my uncles do construction, government, and lord projects both. It's useless on Earth, but in high demand among the lords. I just bought a few dozen truckloads to reinforce my place. I'll put in a word. Sell yours over, market price plus 5%, through the cross-realm trade platform, all legal, so it counts as your valid resource output into your trial score. Thanks, lazy. Next time I'll treat you to super cool potatoes, my island's new specialty, guaranteed to wow you. You buy that much cement, where's the water? Money buys water. When I went quiet, he added, Earth's short on water and lets you pump it away. Nonsense. Earth's got no water. The last sea dried over a century ago. It's all toxic sludge now. Mine's pure star realm water, just shipped from Earth. I'm building a bunker first, with cement, best sturdy material early. Mix in copper wire and bombs can't crack it, real iron walls. Then a few pools, a few dozen maids. The realm's the good life. Here, look at my island blueprint. A third of the interior hollowed into a bunker, all the passages reinforced with rebar concrete. He showed off, and I was floored. Cursed capitalist. Next to his work, my little build was a kid playing with mud. The man was rich. Was rich a top-tier talent? I never showed you this before, afraid your tender heart couldn't take it, that it'd hurt our pure friendship. But you're a talent now, a future lord. Time for some grown-up shock. Seeing my grand blueprint. Aren't you fired up to wrap up a dozen maids and turn your island into a fortress? Work hard. We'll chase girls together someday. I do need to work harder. But aren't you afraid the public finds out? They're drinking slop and dying on the line. Naive. Who didn't start out drinking piss? Some couldn't even get that. Only the wastewater from nuclear plants. My great-grandfather fought in deep space with the Defense Force. My grandfather bled at Jupiter against the Star Alliance. That's how the Chun family was built. Every family was. The realm's endless. The Jupiter lines open to all. The able come. You're able. Yi Fei. I saw it early. You'll build your own island kingdom, your own family. I didn't agree with him. If I were the Star Alliance, I'd use exactly this. Turn an army of collaborators, and humanity would fall from within. But it hadn't happened, and my shallow view couldn't see the whole of this vast society. Climb high. I figured, the higher you go, the further you see. A dozen minutes later, I reached a vendor Lazy had introduced on the Crossrealm platform. He'd already put in a word, so I got a warm welcome, and any cement over a ton could be sold. A bag was about 100 caddies, a ton 20 bags, 200 to 250,000 a ton, set by fineness and calcining. I skimmed the specs and clicked into the boss's profile, curious whether they were a talent. Baiji Heavy Industry, certified, 10 years in business. Name, Yang Li. Title, Manager. The avatar surprised me. Young, maybe 25, a poised, pretty woman with a fine-boned face. Yi Fei, when you make cement, hit the temperature. It varies by island environment. I'll send you a reference standard. If you fall short, we can't buy it, and it won't count toward Lord contribution. Platform formalities, all run through. She made it sound routine, though I'd later gather she figured my cement, like most students, would only grade as seconds, impurities, particle size, all off. But for the Chun Young Master's sake, she'd give top price, pushing my island's output value as high as the rules allowed. To her, I was just another of the year's cheating crowd, and there was mild, rules-permitted cheating in the trial. I knew it. Through lazy, I could sell limestone 5% above market, and that 5% went into my island's resource output. When they tallied each island's total contribution to Earth, I'd carry a 5-point edge. Don't scoff. On a 10 million deal, that's 50,000 more than an ordinary lord. On 100 million, 500,000, several days' island income. And the final trial ranking turned mostly on contribution to humanity, the total value of resources shipped out. Sell more, earn more, contribute more. Crude and fair. After a while, I struck an ore supply deal with Yang Li, becoming a material supplier for Baiji heavy industry. For a year, I could supply cement, free quantity, at trade day market price, plus a quality bonus. Chime. Relationship established with Yang Li. Trade. Reward. Eloquence +1. Another special stat. Eloquence. The last special one was charisma, which left even a succubus weak-kneed. So eloquence had to be no slouch either. 1 point was little use now, but stockpiled it'd matter. I said goodbye to Boss Yang and waved her over. Come here, I'm going to teach you some tentacle master tricks. I'd have her learn to control the Jinmu. With her talent, it wouldn't be hard, and once she mastered it, I could start selling potatoes for real. In my plan, cement was a transitional cloth armor. The fortune potato was the true core gear. Farm produce would bring steady, reliable income. Maybe not huge, but dependable. And if I spent fortune energy on a potato, I could grow a powerful healing one. Food's value is enormous, especially on an Earth of 260 billion. Whoever holds the grain holds humanity, no exaggeration. Earth's food came in tiers. The lowest, corpse starch of unknown origin. The middle, certified synthetic food and near-expiry goods. The highest, fresh food from some realm islands. Small islands produced no food. Only large, long-developed ones and world-type islands could. So even many islands imported food, and it was always scarce. My potatoes had a huge edge. Yuer's potatoes, really, since she could communicate precisely with the Jinmu, which even I, its master, couldn't. I could make the roots move, but not concentrate nutrients to grow potatoes. Water control only set direction, couldn't convey deeper meaning. Yuer's enhanced mind sense could, even telling the tree where to grow more. Concentrated planting, concentrated picking. Just maximum soil, rock, water, no other tools, dirt cheap. And since 2 centuries of war had wiped out Earth's plants and animals, potato pests and blights were extinct too. Plant freely, nothing got sick. So just one question left. I brought Yuer to the Jinmu. I needed to know, if 1 point of fortune energy went entirely into potatoes, how many caddies would it grow? Then I could find buyers. Of course, I wouldn't put all of it into potatoes. My island was tiny, and expanding came first. Yuer, can you tell the tree to grow potatoes in a set area? Sure, but it'll take some trying. She touched the Jinmu and closed her eyes, then sat down under it. Soon a branch reached over and grew a potato above her head, swelling to fist size, pausing. I thought it ripe. Then it kept inflating like a balloon to head size, too heavy, and dropped right onto her head. Ow. She held her head. Dumb tree. I bit back a laugh. The potato's connection to the branch is too strong. You'll need the Jinmu to secrete a ripening hormone. Every plant has one, so the potato drops fast instead of falling by sheer weight. I explained the potato's growth pattern, the best size, the best arrangement. A few minutes later she nodded, glad to be doing something for the island that even I couldn't, and tried again, full of drive. It wasn't as simple as I'd first thought. Lots of small details to refine, but not hard. Just time to reach a shared understanding with the tree. I sat beside her with my phone to check potato prices on the platform. I had real stock, and plenty, and the quality was excellent. The flavor top tier, with long-term effects of accelerated development and beauty. Though that last I wasn't sure of, judging only from my and Ewer states, and with my enhancement and stat gains I couldn't say which did it. Ewer was naturally lovely anyway. The development boost was certain though, so my potatoes weren't ordinary and shouldn't sell at market price. I opened the platform, tapped, I'm a student, and jumped to a far simpler interface. No flashy ads, 2 sections, trade and communicate. I went into trade, studied it, and lit up. There was an option to trade special potatoes, priced freely, not by market average, and successful sales still counted toward the trial. But selling special required an application. So I contacted a platform staffer. Government run. The people there spoke with an air of pure artistry. In principle, you can apply for special produce trade, but you'll need to meet the following. Each sale, we sample test your product 3 to 5 days. You'll need a lab with food testing credentials to certify your product's effects. You'll need a company or talent level figure to vouch for it, and approval certificates from Food Safety, the Mutation Investigation Bureau, the Powers Bureau, the military. I was lost. This complicated? Wait, why the military? That? I'm not sure. The rules say so. Maybe special produce could threaten military security. Right. Got it. Thanks for supporting our work. Please leave a 5-star review, she said, smiling. I closed the chat in silence. By experience, when a process gets made deliberately tortuous, it usually means they can't refuse outright, but don't want you to do it. I'd thought this a fast track to riches and a soaring score. Not so. But I understood why. To stop cheating, since the room for it was huge. The food all looks the same. You say yours is better, fine. But if 1 in 100 really is, and they all price it 10 times, everyone else is finished. And every absurd rule hides an absurd event. I searched, and sure enough, some lord had used a fortune core to grow a healing mushroom on his island. And once it reached Jupiter, it ran wild, sprouting through warships and the ruins beneath Jupiter's buildings. Nearly an ecological disaster, wrecking some warships, almost a military crisis. So mailing a mutant potato to the front had probably broken biosecurity rules. Lucky I'd tucked it in the suit. It shouldn't have been caught. I opened the courier tracking. My package to Inghua had left Earth 2 days ago and reached the Jupiter front an hour back, signed for in person. The fronts ride military ships, so it was fast. A text popped up. Thank you, Yifei, I've got the suit. The gift's lovely too. She'd actually received it an hour earlier and wept over it a while. Now, in her sister's clothes, she'd pulled herself together and set out again. You're welcome. Mind the potato inside. I cultivated it with my power. It has healing effects, good for the skin. She replied at once. Mine, then 122. Then, ASDF Agigu. A misclick? Or something happening? My eyes narrowed. Had a battle started? Whatever it was, I couldn't help. I relaxed. Not my affair. The rest was Inghua's luck. I just hoped the potato would help her live. 1 in 100 million. So low. I turned back to the potatoes. Try processing them? Selling them as ordinary would be a huge loss. Then I noticed, my whole head of space was full of potatoes. The Jianmu's spread branches were hung with them, one beside another, string after string like giant grape clusters. And they were trembling on the verge of falling. I did it. Ewer opened her eyes, thrilled. Your advice worked. I can make them grow in one spot and drop in one spot. Impressive. Thumbs up. Now lesson 2. How to do it safely. I hoisted her up over my head. Just then a gust blew through, and the potatoes came down like dropped bombs, burying us both in a blink. Meanwhile, at the Jupiter front, the mood in Defense Headquarters was grim. Enemy attack. All pilots, scramble. Alarms rang. Then, with sharp pops, pilots in combat suits had their eye sockets burst, blood spraying, many crumpling, bodies twisted. Inghua went down too. Her suit clamped down violently on its own, her whole body creaking, and the patched area at the back of the head split, pale blue fluid spraying out. In the command center, despair, even weeping from the corners. If the Jupiter line fell, humanity was in peril. Damn it, we walked into it. A commander roared. A fine trick. The Star Alliance had patience. They must have found this weakness in our suits a decade ago and waited until now. Maybe they leaked the tech to us on purpose. I always said never trust Star Alliance technology. Too late. Who'd have thought a cracked suit could be turned against them? Nearly everyone in a clamping suit, combat, maintenance, was being hurt. Instantly out of the fight, the center nearly paralyzed. Worse, the alarm had put almost every pilot into a suit, right into the enemy's hands. One wave had wrecked them all. If the aliens destroy Jupiter's underground power plant, our orbital railguns lose power, the space line collapses, and the Star Alliance fleet pours through. All eyes turn to the stunned commander. What else can we do? Tell Earth. Jupiter base will fight to the death. Prepare the Mars line. How many fighters can we move? 300 million ordinary soldiers, but they won't make it. We need defenders at the plant within a minute, and they're rushing as hard as they can. The enemy sent airdrop elites, and over half our pilots who could match them are dead. The rest too badly hurt to move. Silence. No pilot could reach the plant. A flight that took 10 some seconds had become an uncrossable chasm. Then a commander at the window started, rubbed his eyes. Am I seeing this? There's still someone, a pilot who can move. Commanders rushed to the railing. One fighter could turn the tide, however small the chance. Hope flared and died, watching the figure limp, defense fluid leaking everywhere, take a few steps and fall. Could that person even fly? It's Inghua. A camera zoomed her onto the screen. A sorry sight. Her beautiful face caked with blood and blue slime, struggling and failing to rise. Her legs broken, her whole body crushed by the suit, multiple injuries. A commander reported off the suit data. Only the old repair gap in her suit kept her from being crushed to death. The room went quiet again. Fight in that state? Living was already luck. Then Inghua's next move froze them all. She reached, trembling, into the suit and drew out something. A potato? Flattened by the pressure, barely recognizable, but for the skin. And she pushed it into her mouth. It was like a fighter pausing mid-duel for a coffee. Crushed her brains, more than a few thought. Then green light shone off her, stronger and stronger. Finally a pillar bursting outward, and bathed in it she recovered her mobility at once. A few strides to a fighter, and a leap straight into a cockpit 7 or 8 meters up, no climbing gear. Transform, launch. With a roar, the sword-shaped fighter woke like a sleeping dragon and tore the sky, a hot line of fire behind it. Soon, from the plant's direction, explosions rolled like thunder, flame and shrapnel a doomsday canvas. It's an elite veteran from the Air Corps. The plant's defenders, morale soaring, held their ground. Inghua, a combat genius near the level of an ace, now fully recovered and even evolved by the fortune power in the potato, her strength surging. The airdropped Star Alliance soldiers were no match. But not one of them flinched. They'd come resolved to die, and even with her blocking like an iron wall, they pressed through casualties to reach the plant. Seal the plant entrance, halt generation, have the fighter blanket the field with tactical nukes. For humanity, the commander gave the cold order. With a fighter to guide, he could strike precisely without gutting the plant. It would lose power but could be repaired fast, far better than destroyed. But there are hundreds of thousands of our soldiers there, talents among them. I only want the plant. The Star Alliance plan hinged on the ambush, on the time gap, so they'd spent everything to hold the enemy and win. But slowed by Inghua and then the nukes, they could only watch the best window pass, their odds shrinking until the gathering defenders surrounded and wiped them. Still, they didn't retreat. They tried to self-destruct against the plant's outer equipment, to cut power a little longer and give the space fleet an edge. But humans self-destruct too, and in that cold slaughter the line settled back to its old meat grinder balance. Tens of minutes later, a crisis that should have cost dearly and seemed unbreakable was broken. Earth hadn't even grasped what happened, and the command room flooded with joy. Inge was incredible. She saved us all. We lost only 5 million some defenders and shattered a huge plot, thanks to the commander's decisive order. Does anyone know what she ate? Not a potato, surely. Like some evolution drug mixed into food. The quick-witted were already running to where she'd fallen. It's mine. No, mine, don't grab. A dozen commanders crowded the ground over a few crumbs. It does look like a potato. From where? Investigate. Within 5 minutes, all of Yi Fei's information lay in humanity's most important war room, and everyone was stunned, even the battle-hardened commander. The key to the turnaround, an unremarkable potato, came from an equally unremarkable lord. No, an apprentice lord, still a student. His messages with Inghua were dug up, the whole picture clearing. But a new puzzle rose. By the records, Yifei's island was bare rock, 20 square meters, storm-scoured down to nothing. Where had the potato come from? The commanders pored over Yifei's thin file, genuinely a double talent, and handsome, but no other hook. The transit logs showed no planting or soil tools bought. The one curiosity, why had Yifei bought a women's exploration suit when his island had no women? You don't think, ahem. Yifei's involved in a major military event and played a role, so we're entitled to look into him as needed, the commander said, deciding to satisfy everyone's curiosity and write his report. Apply to open a portal, observe Yifei's island quietly. Notify him first. We're only curious, don't upset him. The miracle potato touches a battle, so we must publish it in the report, but Yifei's personal information is strictly not to leave this room. Not one word. As soldiers, we respect privacy and follow the secrecy code. Anyone who leaks his information faces severe punishment. He had to set the example, follow the visible rules. Right? Yifei's still an apprentice lord. His info might tie to his abilities and later strategy. Leak it, and we'd hurt his score. Trial-related, all the more reason to keep it quiet. He's a commoner. Even more reason, or the big families could target him. And he and Inghua seem on good terms. All agreed. By any measure, they couldn't expose him. Someone's coming to inspect. Stay put. I'd caught the notice on my phone and pressed her head down, keeping her in the potato pile. We'd both been buried in the potato rain, and she'd just been griping at me for using her as a shield, the two of us scuffling among the potatoes. The notice told me the inspection was military, and that told me right away. Inghua was probably saved, the process likely seen by other soldiers, sparking the military's curiosity. Honestly, I hadn't expected it. On a chaotic battlefield, who'd notice one soldier's move? But noticed or not, no matter. If I'd dared send the potato, I'd been ready to make the ability public. It was only a matter of when. In this society, if you've got the goods, don't hide them. Bring them out and you get the reward and standing you deserve. If the military had found it, maybe my potato business would take a turn. I hoped it'd catch their interest. What I didn't know was that my information was already traveling up with the commander's report. Jupiter HQ, Defense Force HQ, Earth HQ. The battle's so unexpected, legendary, and harrowing that my name rode along with Inghua's past nearly every major figure. The battle's outline began spreading online too. The Star Alliance's strike was too big, the losses too heavy, the base awash in blood, impossible to hide, and to boost morale the military didn't try. Inghua's legend became another sign of humanity being favored. The already famous Inghua was now called wife by countless people, her fame exploding, her most popular title, the beautiful girl who saved the world. Without her turning the tide, the whole Jupiter line might have fallen, casualties 100 times worse. And I rode along too, dubbed the mysterious man behind the world-saving girl, my one potato the crucial savior item. People talking it up endlessly. The clip of Inghua eating it, her long hair filling with mysterious energy, turning glowing emerald like a magical girl transformation, went viral. Mom, I found the goddess of beauty. This is a potato? No, it's a magical girl transformation device. And everyone asked, are there more potatoes like that? If I could eat one, any normal person would dream it. The potato became an internet hot topic, trending with the girl, the story growing wilder. Rumored to grant talent awakening, to be why Inghua was so beautiful and strong. At Jupiter HQ, waiting for the portal, the commanders studied my file and grew more doubtful. One concluded the potato probably wasn't from my island, but bought elsewhere. A boy meets a beautiful girl, rare chance, wants to impress, sends a special gift, and calls it a local specialty. Only human. The seasoned commander spoke, and the others agreed. Then the portal opened, a drone flew through, and the woman commander piloting it went wide-eyed. Am I seeing things? Someone's buried in potatoes. First glance through the camera, a huge heap of potatoes, impossible to miss. God, so many potatoes, and growing on a tree? Her voice went disbelieving. Just then I climbed out of the pile. Wow, handsome. It's Yifei, much better than the photo. Her eyes lit. Then she caught herself, flushed, coughed, and fumbled the drone feed onto the command center's big screen. And she breathed easier, because she wasn't the only one who said it. I looked up at the drone in the sky, a Recon 6 military scout drone. Good gear. I'd seen a second-hand one on the platform yesterday, but even with the student discount the price was brutal, enough to kill any further interest. Once I sold potatoes and made money, I'd absolutely get myself a 12th-hand drone. Just the long-range scouting would be a game changer, and I had a generator to charge it. As for what this sudden military drone wanted, I could guess. The military wouldn't interfere with my work, so I'd do what I did. In fact, I wondered if I should put on a show. A rare chance, the kind people begged for. Pity I'd just run out of fortune energy, or I'd have grown a wave of potatoes on the spot. The phone buzzed. Inghua, full of gratitude. It made me glad. 1. The girl had actually been saved by my help. Incredible. A sense of orchestrating a rescue from far away. And the gratitude of a beautiful girl. 2. With luck, fortune energy was about to arrive. What I'd hoped for, coming right on cue. Time to show what I could really do. I glanced at the drone and my mouth curved. In the command room, a pack of commanders sat a little stunned. Damn, Yifei's seriously good-looking. The hottest young stars aren't this handsome. Combat people, blunt by habit, they said it straight out. Even as a guy, I felt a jolt, something special about him, those abs especially. Beauty carries through a screen, through motion and image, and enhanced and stat-boosted. Yifei's looks had jumped. They felt a small hit of it. Is that a tree growing on an island? Or an island growing on a tree? Looking the place over through the camera, they all wore the same puzzled face. It was nothing like any island they'd seen, and far bigger than Yifei's file showed. Their curiosity, instead of being satisfied, deepened. What's Yifei doing? Picking potatoes. Zoom in. The crew crowded with conflicting requests. So Yifei was telling the truth. The potatoes really are his island's specialty, and the yield looks considerable. Were these all grown today? The file was updated days ago, 7 at most, and in 7 days the island's transformed. Area up at least 5-fold. And this huge mutant potato tree. He struck it rich. One commander stared, eyes red with envy. Today's picking, no question. Today's growth, absurd, I don't buy it. By plant grading, this is a wondrous plant. This one tree alone makes the island priceless. Yifei's future's boundless. This trial, he might break the top 10. Top 10. The commander, Peng, marveled at Yifei's luck too, but at top 10 he gave a thin smile, in a good enough mood to explain. Top 10's impossible. By my experience, he's got a shot at the top 100, just a shot, depending on his effort and the tree's actual yield. And that's optimistic. Wondrous plants usually don't yield much, the record being once a day. The trial's that hard? One a day was already impressive to him. For a lord with a lucky break, it's not hard, but a good ranking is brutal, the top 100 especially. Real rewards there. You don't win just because you want to, the water's deep. Most of you joined the army without awakening, never ran a real trial, and lords are a different department. And a wondrous plant means a high-value island, but a high-value island still has to contribute to humanity. Several commanders went dawning. Right, a great island doesn't mean great value to Earth. The trial measured resources shipped out. However impressive Yifei's special potatoes, how many could there be? One tree, with a yield ceiling. Even optimistically, one batch a day isn't much. And anyone could see these potatoes weren't like Inghua's. Hers had clearly been infused with some energy, special made. Meanwhile, big family-backed islands hired thousands of workers. Their extraction speed was terrifying. Still, for a commoner, Yifei was remarkable. Everyone agreed. No top 10, but a trial success, a rising name, a future great lord, locked in. They swept the drone around and stopped under the tree. They had questions still, but they'd confirmed the potatoes were the island's, and the rest wasn't theirs to dig into. To avoid annoying Yifei, they got ready to leave. And then I raised my hand, green light flickering on it. That light. Every eye went wide. The talent, the one-off Inghua. Peng, about to leave, stopped and turned back. I drew my hand up the huge mutant tree, and it swayed, green light pooling, and potatoes burst out across the branches. Hundreds, thousands, weighing the branches down. One dropped, then two, then a hammering rain. Too fast. No one had expected potatoes to grow like that. No, the drone. The commander piloting it cried out, caught off guard, as the potato rain knocked it down into the heap. It grows that fast, one swipe and they fall. That's got to be hundreds of tons a day. The room was floored. Not one batch a day, a heap in a blink. Ping's face went shocked. A ripening talent. Now they understood why Yifei had been buried in potatoes. So a talent forces the potatoes. The speed's insane. Run the talent non-stop, and they grow non-stop. And did you notice the tree itself? It's growing too, spreading, expanding the island. The first island expansion method I've seen outside a core. This island's future is boundless. A commander, excited, asked, Commander Peng, what do you think? Then caught himself. Peng had judged wrong before, and asking now might read as rubbing it in. But Peng said, after this meeting, have logistics contact Yifei. The military will take on his potatoes, make him a food supplier. Be polite, standard supplier terms. Call it our support for a talented lord. Building an early connection benefits us. And not a word of this leaves the room. Anyone who leaks faces military discipline. He rose and left, off to report up. Commander, what about my drone? Your useless drone got shot down with potatoes, and you've got the nerve to ask? Throw the controller over too. Call it our hello gift for the abrupt inspection. The commanders traded looks. One noticed Peng was acting oddly. Did you see how fast he left? And his attitude toward Yifei? Too good. More than good, almost ingratiating. This is headquarters. We lack nothing, fear nothing. Yet he's making an apprentice lord a supplier. Even top 100, even first, wouldn't warrant that. Heads nodded. Every year there's a first. Peng had never cared like this. Laymen watched the show, experts watched the craft. Peng saw more in Yifei's display than we did, and it has to be staggering. Consensus formed. Yifei was no simple matter. Could it be evolution? A constantly growing tree, an expanding island. Wait, this feels familiar. It's almost like a commander's eyes went wide. You mean the Fortune Core? They traded stunned looks. Talents they might not know, but those 4 words everyone knew. An island's core, humanity's bedrock. How to look at this island? On their knees. The commander who'd asked Peng felt his own foolishness keenly. This wasn't an ordinary island. It was a true one, priceless. They'd been arguing over daily potato yield, doubting Yifei's top 100 shot. A commoner, favored by some. But favor isn't real support. Favors and money come at a cost, and the transit records showed Yifei's funds were thin, much of his gear secondhand, under 3 million total. Shabby, while moneyed apprentices were hiring in bulk. Yet every sign said this island was different. It grew potatoes by talent, no labor, no soil, and it grew itself, no labor either. The realm's power, unreasonable. Some commanders still couldn't believe it. Surface observation, guesswork, and the Fortune Core a bold leap most had never even seen, a lord's lifeline. Maybe just similar to one. And any island core was humanity's absolute secret, monopolized by Earth, evenly allocated. Where would Yifei get one? Unprecedented. One commander even dug up the Shanghai #1 school forum, where Yifei ranked only 3rd in talent, 4th among title favorites, behind the double talent first Lung Xiao, Gray Steel's Wang Yifeng, and Black Obsidian's backed commoner genius Shimin Jia. The commanders wondered if those favorites' backers would eat their words. The drone was fished out, and amid the shock the island expanded again, roots at the far edge snaring drifting rock. From the drone's view, countless roots writhing like jellyfish tentacles, the whole island a vast living thing, wondrous against the starlight, an island swimming in a sea of stars. They stared, awed, until a commander reluctantly closed the feed. This wasn't theirs to watch. The screen freezing on roots hauling in rock before it went dark, reflecting their stunned faces. After a long while they came back from the envy. Core or not, Yifei's the most genius of our Xiaohai. His island's half alive. Controlling plants, ripening them. That's at least 1 talent, so 3 talents? And he hid his strength. Envy in the voice. Publish this and it'd shock every new lord, every conglomerate lining up. And Yifei was a top student besides, and now the savior of a rising military star. An island like that, developed, would be unbelievable. Movable roots alone, plus endless food. Makes me want to retire early and go work on Yifei's island. One was tempted. Go now and you'd be a founding figure, maybe upper management someday. Dreaming? With a military background, why would he want you? Yifei posts a job ad with the island's situation and clean record talents fight to get in. Why would Yifei hide his talents? With 3, he'd be the title favorite, drawing huge investment. Did he awaken them later? No, that doesn't work either. No one keeps awakening talents. I've seen so many geniuses I'm treating talent like cabbage. And me, the subject of all this, sat grinning at my phone, chatting with Inghua, building the relationship. The military's confusion I didn't need to explain. If forced, one word: talent. The drone I had no intention of returning. By Lord Law, what falls on my island is mine. A free drone, and I just had to buy a controller, which I could afford. Then a handheld controller came through the portal, landing in front of me, and with it, a military food supplier invitation. My hand shook with joy. A windfall. Did this count as a relationship with the military, though? But the military wasn't a person. Was there a reward? 2 centuries of war had made the military unimaginably vast, its complexes woven through every part of society, with its own intricate system. Local government basically couldn't touch it. So a connection there was excellent. Through it I could break the deadlock on selling potatoes as special produce. As a military supplier, I could sell on the government cross-realm platform at special potato prices, and military supplier was a fine signboard. 2 obvious benefits, both of which I urgently needed. With military backing, certifying special potatoes was nothing, instant. And I wouldn't have to sell it all to the military. The label said the military endorsed my product, sharply boosting my bargaining power with other merchants. So after confirming the invitation, I called the quartermaster. The special potato certification was easy, the military's own invitation, internally arranged, green lights all the way. As for price, I didn't haggle. I happily set 1,000 yuan a caddy, where ordinary potatoes ran about 500 including shipping. Yifei, I'm sorry, we have strict price caps on food procurement, and honestly your price is so low it's almost embarrassing. The quartermaster, surnamed O, said apologetic. Not low, truly not. I waved it off, eyes shining with gratitude. I'm the one who should feel embarrassed. I have to thank the military. Thank Commander Pong for this rare chance. The army sheds blood for humanity's peace. I'd support our soldiers with everything even if I made nothing. It's the least I can do. And my good friend Inghua's in the army. It feels like family. I just want the soldiers eating and drinking well, with the strength to guard our home. Without you, where's Earth's peace? Where's the space for lords like me? Righteous and heartfelt. I hadn't expected my new eloquence stat to pay off so fast. By the phone, several people, including a Commander Peng had sent, nodded along. Well said, a hero out of youth. Yifei, the military accepts your heart. Thank you. It was my real view. The army's sacrifice was terrifying, and I knew and respected it. But organizing it into words people find comfortable and convincing isn't simple. Before, I couldn't have made such a speech. Now, with eloquence and no restraint, I could. 1,000 a caddy was a loss on the potato itself, but counting the supplier signboard, no loss at all. The government didn't want to open the special food channel. It was precious, hard even for conglomerates to get, the approvals long and foul, inspections constant. I'd gotten it the back way, through the military. What I lost there I'd double back on the platform from other merchants. Honestly, I still couldn't believe the military had opened a channel just for an apprentice lord. I'd thought selling to them was good enough. Instead, they'd handed me supplier status outright. Inghua had probably pushed for it, my only big leg in the army. I drafted a thank you, and meant to borrow some money too. She'd earned a fortune. Debt was a relationship, and they say the lender's the boss. I didn't mind deepening things with Inghua. We could message anytime now, and we'd formed a benefactor relationship. She saw me as the savior her late sister had sent. And honestly, but for her sister's suit failing and the potato, she'd never have lived. Anyone hit by that chain of coincidences would call it fate. Never mind the evolution that made her a talented super soldier. I was the one her sister had sent. And I was handsome. The military paperwork was done, efficient as ever, and I could look up my supplier status on their site. A Defense Force supplier, Tier 1. Chime. Relationship established with the Earth Defense Force. Cooperation. Reward. Reputation +1, one chance to draw a military ability. A reward after all. So a relationship subject didn't have to be a person. An organization worked. being a sum of people, which was why even initial contact paid 2 rewards. A big organization paid richly, both new to me. Reputation, like fame? Some things only happen with enough of it. Easy to see. I'd gotten Tier 1 supplier status because I performed and earned a name in the army. Skill plus fame makes people regard you. Otherwise, you're nobody on the roadside. An important stat, working through countless intangible advantages in dealing with people. Then the second reward, draw a military ability. I used it at once. Drawn, combat drone operation. Knowledge surfaced in my head, like the surveying I'd gotten from Mr. Zong. Basic principles, control methods, specific combat techniques, as if I'd studied for years. Useful right now, no combat drone, but I just scored a military scout 1, and the controls overlapped, making the recon 6 far easier to handle. A dozen minutes practice, and I'd manage it. New, that drone ran 10 million online. Realm capable, strong interference resistance, heat and cold tolerant. The military was generous, and Inghua had a hand in it. I wrote her, "Thank you, General Inghua. With your help I got Tier 1 supplier status, a big help for my trial, better rank, rewards, money. Send." She replied fast, free during her physical and talent assessment. "Hey, just call me Inghua. General, I can't even order a single infantry buddy around. It's a nominal honor. Stop praising me, it's so embarrassing." The playful message made me smile. Who'd guessed this hardened soldier had such a cute side, using little emojis? Not strange, really. Inghua was only 18, a student like me before the front, with all a girl's small thoughts, just no chance to show them. Cruel battle devours so much beauty, balanced on the edge of death daily. Who has the heart for it? Now she'd glimpsed hope, made it through, and with me meaning so much to her, a girl's innocence slipped out. The phone kept buzzing. She had a lot to say. And congrats on the military's attention, but I didn't push for it. I've risen fast and gotten their regard, but I'm just a combat soldier, a lucky girl. I can't sway headquarters. You overrate me. I think they value you for the fortune energy's potential. Researchers believe it has power like a fortune course. I'll ask around for you. It's surely good news, since they wouldn't grant supplier status to court you otherwise. So I'd read it wrong. The fortune energy was what drew the military, not mass-producing potatoes. I'd just been showing off blind and stumbled into it. Lucky the military had eyes for it. I wrote back, "How's your physical going? The fortune energy has no side effects on you, I hope? If not, I can send you more energy-rich potatoes." Crucial to me, did fortune energy affect the human body? The military had the equipment and people to know far more reliably than my fumbling. Once Inghua confirmed it's safe, I could do much more. Then I could speed Yuer's maturation without worry and complete the contract. All conditional on it being safe. I wasn't about to risk forcing Yuer's growth just to hear her say master. Inghua. Still collecting data, but the preliminary finding is all benefit, no harm. If anything, it forces maturation, triggers a second development, and my hair turned pale green, glows in the dark. Those changes might not suit minors. Premature organ maturity, periods, possible insufficient height, psychological strain. Detailed, with parts of the report attached. Her body's specific changes she left out for privacy, and I didn't press, but the hint was plain, and with the succubus's case I had a rough picture. Chest and other organs developing again, finer, smoother skin. Yuer had similar changes. She ate a lot, devoured potatoes daily, and before I stopped her had even tried absorbing fortune energy directly. And me, I realized my own body and skin changes might not all be enhancement and stats. Easy to test. I got a ruler, then looked down and went awkward. I peed every day, so the gradual tiny changes were hard to notice. But someone else on the island used it often. I looked, asking at Yuer. "It's gotten longer and bigger," Yuer said, surprised. Where before she could pinch thumb and forefinger and handle it easily, now she couldn't, and hadn't noticed until I pointed it out. So I really was unlike a normal. She really was unlike a normal succubus, grown crooked under my influence. The guest kept confirming, and it scared her some, but as a succubus she had an unusual instinct for the body, and a nudge from me, and she saw the difference. Incredible, she analyzed. By my knowledge, humans develop briefly, a bloom of maybe 10 years. You're a short-lived species, fast to grow and breed. You're already an adult, past your growth window, beyond muscle and the new talents. You shouldn't change much. Yet your own talent's energy is making you develop again. Yi Fei, this is a cheat. Keep it up and you might break the short-lived limit. Since with fortune energy you can always keep your body active, even evolve, and the energy's your own talent, which you use anyway. A delight. My organs had hit a second development, like Inghua and Yuer. Better than the relationship reward. The body's the capital of revolution. Yuer's anxiety I saw, but I had no better answer than, get used to it. Maybe the contract would make her feel safer. Inghua and I chatted on and off, the girl who'd glimpsed hope unusually lively. Thank you for the miracle potato. I know it's precious, so I won't take it free. I'll pay. How much each? I won't need it now, but the researchers think I should keep one on me, just in case. Paying makes us strangers. I owe you for the loan that got my island going, and without you the military wouldn't value me. Being valued isn't bad, but becoming a genius lord opens far wider skies. So I saved you, but you also gave me a stage. Fate's wondrous. Through the system's prompts I'd built this connection, our fates crossing. But relationships need tending, and money strains feeling. I'd spent my own money and potatoes. Did I need cash? I needed a beautiful girl's gratitude, admiration, secret crush. Beautiful warrior, just stay alive. That's the biggest help to me. I'd put real time into her. And no, I wasn't a saint with no private motive. But who could resist hand-raising a beautiful warrior and pulling her from death's fate? A magical girl-raising feeling. No, no, I have to pay. I can't take your things for nothing. She held firm, and I'd expected it. A battle-tested girl had her own mind, not changed by a few words. If she'd folded easily, I'd have thought less of her. Her insistence only piqued my interest. Then the old way. I take advantage of you. You keep lending me money, and once I'm a lord, I repay with interest. The potatoes, you take and use. You probably won't need them. Return them later. I lend you potatoes, you lend me money. All right, she said. How much do you have? I'll borrow all of it. I just got 5 million in battle reward, with 10 million special contribution reward coming. 5 million first. It's a loan. Lend me 5 million. Fine, 5 million. Her mouth tipped into a faint smile. Who turns down free money yet loves to owe? Plainly, I'd done it on purpose, to give her potatoes and save her face. A silent, steady care that warmed her, a feeling gone since her sister died. Deal. Keep the IOU, repaid in a month. I sent it cheerfully, so the debt relationship would upgrade. Inghua. Sure. In a month, try to earn that much, get rich, and by your good word, I'll try to live to then. Chime. Relationship established with Inghua. Friends. Reward, spirit +1. Not debt. Friends, one step further. Hope I earn money. Hope I live. Was that her quiet wish on the debt? A pact with her own future? Moved, I wrote. General Inghua, ever victorious. A month's nothing. Aim for gold spike veteran. It's settled. Our pact, the contract's made. If Inghua lived one more month, that made 3, and she'd auto-become an elite soldier. With her record, a little money or connection could pull her off the deadliest front. And if strong enough to last a full year, she'd be a legendary gold spike soldier, humanity's highest honor. I'd have to ask Lazy how that was arranged. He'd hinted at maneuvering room. And I felt the weight on my shoulders. The 5 million suddenly felt hot in my hand. With Inghua this hot, I should ride the heat. Heat's a wind, fast to come, fast to go. I had her leak some of my information to the reporters chasing her and put out some of the drone footage. Inghua was a hot hero now, hundreds of reporters buzzing daily, the military pushing her hard. One thing annoyed me. The military's lips were too tight. Respecting a lord's privacy was good, but I wanted publicity. Having shown some abilities, I needed fame as cover. The more famous, the less the wild big powers dared move hard on me, having to negotiate instead. My risk of accident was near zero, since society craved geniuses too badly to do anything so brainless as erase one. But preventive fame still helped. Government attention, safety, real benefit, like Wang Yifeng's self-hyping. On Earth, fame means paparazzi and image worries. In the realm, only upside. It's all private lord territory, and my fame was positive. For nation and people, genius youth. Soon a reporter chewed over the second-hand info, fermented it, and put it online, under a hooking title, The Mysterious Man Behind the Beautiful Warrior. Not local news, Starlight, the global news entertainment platform under Star Ring. My fame jumped. Watching the Inghua interview, I had to laugh. Facing reporters, she'd flattered me without mercy, even exaggerating the potato's effect and my morals. So even a shameless man went hot. A battle-tested girl boasting with such cool, never blinking, so no reporter doubted a word. My eloquence would need +10 to match her offhand bragging. Riding the military's morale push and Inghua's full cooperation, I shot up the trending list, known to many ordinary people, drawing crowds. A swipe to refresh, and a dozen comments appeared, military commentators, tech commentators, even entertainment bloggers piling on. But my biggest fame was on the student-heavy apprentice Lord Net, students being the loudest online, time, and energy-rich. My past grades and talent ranking got dug up, and I became one of the most watched apprentice lords after Wang Yifeng and Leng Qiu, eclipsing the conglomerate-backed Ximen Jie. For real? Yi Fei awakened on the last day, and a double? You see the leaked video, a potato tree that big, a whole island? Feels AI faked. Did nobody notice Inghua's suit was bought from Yi Fei? Who knows what he did to a beautiful girl's suit? If Yi Fei's as handsome as the video, I don't think General Inghua minds. She's probably secretly thrilled. The way he looked back at the camera, let's just say, women don't understand how that face hits. Guys this handsome are usually effeminate. And don't forget he bought a women's suit. Don't be fooled. Yi Fei and Ximen Jie are both commoner geniuses, but I'll say one thing. Yi Fei took not a cent from any conglomerate. He's a model for us commoners. Who's US? Speak for yourself. Whether he's a model, everyone has their own scale. How long's it been? What model thing has Yi Fei done? Did he win the trial? He just got lucky saving one girl. Stop praising people to death. Topics about me surged. Type the two characters of my name and people gathered, some for, some against, some flaming each other. Long screeds telling me to keep my household register handy. Conspiracy theories that this was a realm lord plot for autonomy. It felt surreal, and I'd caused most of it, single-handed, stirring up the net while bragging with a beautiful girl. On the island, Ewer lay on the potato heap, chin propped, bare feet swinging, eyes on me, curious. I lounged with my phone, fingers tapping, a mysterious smile now and then. She wondered, is this how humans communicate? Strange. But Yi Fei's profile in the sunset's glow was charming. Having self-exposed, I was now fielding a bombardment of greetings from relatives I never knew I had. An orphan with no one to blow out birthday candles, working through tuition, and suddenly 14 relatives, everyone solicitous, one even offering me their inheritance. A never-met cousin laid it on thick and sent private photos. Yi Fei, can I come work on your island? The photo startled me. A coy young girl dressed loud, playing worldly. Striking, a little absurd, a little sad, and we were nominally near strangers. The relatives' undisguised, frantic eagerness to sell themselves a price floored me. By her display, told to strip for photos, she'd only have washed up a bit to look better. In my memory, my cousin Yule's family wasn't rich, but got by, decent people, not this. So eager, so desperate. I was a public figure. How could I touch such chats, getting framed, posted online? Why couldn't she at least be discreet, package it? But thinking of ordinary people's lot, I let it go. Bottom-rung city life, a 5-square-meter pigeon box, corpse starch food, green toxic air, wastewater filtered who knows how many times, daily screw-turning to stay useful, or you fill the line. Day after day, anyone would lose patience, lose useless pride. Crushed by poverty and pressure, they grab any chance like a drowning person, which is why rescuers drown too. And my island was hyped online. Endless food, soft focus glow. For the first time I felt what being a lord, an upper-tier person, meant. Lord status and island living were things countless ordinary people would pay any price for. But after the pleasantries I was disappointed. I couldn't truly form a relationship with any relative. It was wasted time. I lost interest, kept only the cousin and her sister who could form an employment relationship, blacklisted the rest. The two sisters were eager, young, and energetic, fit for island work. Later they could come. For now I didn't lack hands, and my island was small. Still, I generously spent 6,000 to hire them in advance. Wang Yifeng helped classmates free. A poor student couldn't, but a chance at my door begged testing. Two sisters, 3,000 a month each, a month paid up front, so they could quit the factory and study island farming from home. A course I set, directed training farm workers, anyone with hands could do it. They were grateful. Thank you, Yifei. We'll work hard. I cheerfully formed 2 employment relationships. Riley, the older sister, sensibly sent her photo too. Did they think I'd fallen for those looks? They were passable, but a woman long in the bottom-rung city. Not that the succubus had spoiled my taste, but in that environment you can't expect much. Even good bones lose detail, skin ages fast and roughens, sometimes cuts your hand, not enough water to brush or wash. Not stinking is already living hard. Earth's environment was harsh. Only good schools, government, and the rich lived in the upper tiers, a little away from the gas, a normal life. So an island job was precious. Even with the danger and the realm's slow erosion, far better than Earth. The 2 sisters gave me 2 strength points, 6,000 well spent, and they'd create value later. I kept a card up my sleeve, a 1-month trial contract, with a test, renew only if they satisfied me. Reasonable. I was an apprentice lord myself, out if I failed to get a core in 3 months. As a talent, I had options. Islands recruited talents at 10 times an ordinary wage. But having tasted lordship, no one wants to be a mere talent, a wage earner, no comparison to a lord with an island. The rest of the day I fielded classmates and the teacher, 2 famous now, everyone checking in, while the online stories grew wilder. A giant pool on my island, the whole island able to fly freely. Absurd. But the upside was clear. Chatting with Mr. Zhang, he introduced several potato buyers, and several Shanghai conglomerates were interested in my special potatoes. That was the military certifications benefit, plus the fame. Selling potatoes would be easy now, at prices well above the military's. Even the young master Wang Yifeng messaged personally, apologizing for his earlier rashness, offering to broker a gray steel buyout of my potatoes at a stunning price. Initially twice the military rate, sight unseen. But I knew he cared not about the potato money, but about a contract, long-term cooperation, deep water. And he and I had no real quarrel. He'd even stuck up for me in the group. So this was a pretext to connect. Apology false, courtship real. But I held to Mr. Zhang's teaching. I'd chosen the hard solo start precisely for full autonomy. Cooperate with a conglomerate? Fine. Bind into long-term cooperation? No interest. Heh. Fei Shui, don't refuse so fast. Think it over. Wang Yifeng wrote, unusually warm. I know you're close with Mr. Zhang, who looks out for you. But you may not know, when he was young, he had real friction with the conglomerates, a lot of misunderstanding. Then, casual. By the way, Fei Shui, spare me a couple potatoes? To study, and to show off to some girls. They don't believe I know you. I need them gobsmacked. Far from his earlier loftiness, now equal, friendly. My fingers moved. Huh. You're too kind, Feng Shui. Send the address. I'll mail you a few caddies. Thanks, Fei Shui. Courier collect. Don't stand on ceremony with a cursed rich man like me. Fast. Then, as if remembering. By the way, you mean to plant potatoes at scale? That's a big move. Yeah, that's the plan. There's a rumor lately. An island that produces too much food may hurt its final trial score. Food abundance, a negative? My eyes narrowed. An otter. Why would Wang Yifeng, my rival, tell me this? If memory served, we were rivals. That's unlikely, I replied, hesitant. But inside, I felt nothing was impossible. So absurd it might be true, and he had no reason to lie about something this strange. My mood went heavy. I don't know the specifics. Honestly, I doubted it at first. It's absurd, but on reflection it has a logic. People are wretched, hungry. You have one worry. Full, countless worries. As long as the Star Alliance threat holds, and we're pinned on Earth, one worry is better. Limited scarcity resolves the dilemma. Just hearsay. Let's drop it, or discipline will invite us for tea. It shook me. I'd never wondered why, with talents and powers, Earth's food stayed so scarce. Now I half believed it, my worldview cracking. No, it made no sense, against all human decency. But if the upper tiers did it, they'd have ample reason and motive. Keep people to one worry, and many volunteer for the front, come to the islands at any cost. Exactly what I'd just witnessed, a beneficiary of the very mechanism, enjoying the upper-tier feeling. The thought left me agitated. This society's dark, it eats people. Then, deeper, I suspected it was portal capacity. If the portal's total daily mass had a ceiling, likely, given the brutal fees, then shipping or food cost the same capacity but served differently, or becomes weapons against the Alliance. Reusable. Food only maintains minimum survival, cheapest kept low. In strategy games, I'd done the same. Most capacity to war resources, all else yields to survival. And hunger is a fast way to cheap labor. Under a military-first policy, an island aiming to flood the public with food is bad. It embarrasses the government. Food exists, why not supply it? Supply it and it eats capacity. And full, who goes to the toxic factories, the line, the struggle? Better no food. As Wang Yifeng said, limited scarcity resolves the dilemma. Thanks for telling me. Don't mention it. You'd learn eventually. I just gave you a head start. So develop potatoes, but not excessively. It's no great good for us lords, the military, or the government. The big picture must come first. Necessary sacrifices are unavoidable. And I believe that, working together, under the federal government's wise leadership and the defense soldiers' sacrifice, we'll find a way out. He'd circled back to cooperation. Right? We lords must strive for it too. We stopped there. Anymore, and we really would be invited for tea. We traded gossip on Lungqiu and Shimenjie and ended it. Yifei, you said Wang Yifeng's your rival. Why tell you this? Doesn't it hurt his win? You were asked, curious. Two different things. You can compete and cooperate. Smart people want win-win, and he probably wants to beat me cleanly, confident in his strength. And because I've shown enough value. You humans are complicated, scheming and being fair at once. She pouted. Among succubi, you just schemed wholeheartedly. I think so too. That's why I keep you out of others' sight. Not just hiding a treasure, but because we're complicated. I've seen noble humans who die for humanity, and humans 1,000 times filthier than any succubus. Don't get found out. At my current strength, I can't protect you. There'd be many times ahead I'd need her hidden. She had to understand not every human was as easygoing as me. She nodded, sweet. But I believe in you. Soon you'll be my solid support. She struck a deliberately helpless, pitiable pose, a flower in the rain. I'm confident long-term, but short-term it's hard. She'd never left the island, always with me, so her odd faith made sense. I didn't dare such arrogance. 200-some billion humans, no way to shield a treasure like her short-term. Hiding was safest. What's there to fear? I'll help you. I'm a more talented succubus than you. We'll build the island together. You'll become a great lord, and then I can play on the island openly, and you can hire crowds of maids. Bright eyes on me, expectant. Right, we'll build it together. A surge of spirit. At rousing desires beyond the body. Ewer was a master, a succubus, after all. Scratch and the drive came up, better than a dozen inspirational books. Like the recovery spring. Smell her, spirit recovers. Taste her, stamina. Listen to her, even fighting spirit. We pictured the island's future, the hope binding us closer. Meanwhile, on a vast construction-covered island, someone asked the same thing Ewer had. Feng Shui, why tell Yifei that? By my estimate, he'll be one of your strongest rivals. Not telling him, even one day's detour, would lift your odds for first. Wang Yifeng didn't answer directly, just glanced at the subordinate. You mean, without this trick I can't beat him? The man waved, alarmed. No, your odds of winning are huge. Even with smooth sailing, Yifei's almost no match for you. Then there you are. A faint smile, his eyes on the brightening ice balls. I, Wang Yifeng, hardly need such methods to secure a win. Yifei's a talent. Top grades, top potential. A talent like that, once over the dragon gate, becomes a realm dragon. Withhold the info and win. It's not honorable. He might resent it. Tell him and still win. And he's convinced, and we can cooperate as fellow lords. Worst case, even if I misstep and lose, so what? He'd be grateful. And what have I lost? A mere trial first isn't forever first. Whatever happens, I win. I'm enlightened, the subordinate said, admiring.